recorded live.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Müvment Boxing Podcast. Where we keep it real, give you the straight facts, unbiased, uncut, unfiltered, that raw You know what I'm saying? All things boxing, man. And we got a lot to cover this evening. Right now, we got my boys, Big Cool from the Colossal Boxing Talk right now on the line.
What up?
We also got Bernard holding it down for the Truth and Facts About Boxing.
Yo, what's up? Excuse my partner. He's been celebrating a lot since Lara won Friday night. I think he's a little tipsy. You know, he loves his Cubans, man. So he'll be on the show in a minute. Him and 2K, they both will be on the line. We got something special lined up tonight. We got a great guest coming on, man. I think 2016 Trainer of the Year, who I think should be picked. We got Manuel Robles coming on in a little bit, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. With that said, we're gonna get started with these topics for tonight. We're gonna start off with the review of Friday's card on I believe it was Spike. We had two fights that we're gonna talk about. Anthony the Dog Jarrell, and also on the main event we had Erislandy Lara facing Yuri Foreman in a stay busy fight, I guess you could call it that. With that said, let me get everybody's thoughts on pretty much we're going to start off with the Anthony Jarrell fight. He knocked out, I guess it was a stay busy fight for him. He knocked out Norbert Normasetti in the 7th round. What did you guys think of that fight, and anything as far as Anthony Jarrell's performance, if you caught it up? I'll go ahead and start with you, Bernard. Bernard. Yo.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
It was a good performance by Anthony Jarrell. The only issue I had is you're showboating and this guy is still standing up. By the 5th round by the end of the 5th, early 6th, he should have got him out of there. He should have been. Actually, I think it was the 5th. He started showboating. He should have just forget doing all that. We know his power has no effect on you. You can take his punches. You're overpowering him. You're out punching him. Get him out of there. Get him out of there. It took the 7th round for the referee to stop the match, but it was a good performance. But all the showboating wasn't needed. If he was going to do it, he should have did it and got rid of him. He didn't get rid of him like he should have.
All right. I'll go ahead and speak on this one as well. Jarrell did what he had to do. He got him out of there probably a little bit later than we would have liked. I think I could agree with you. He did play around with him a little bit too much, I think, and let him stick around too long. But, he did punish and batter the dude. But, if you're going to do that, at least work on certain things in the ring. And I think he was kind of showboating, like Bernard mentioned, as far as allowing himself to get hit, putting his hands down, and, showing a whole lot of macho shit that was unnecessary for a guy that's not even a contender. With that said, man, I would like to see, Anthony stepping back up again, man. He's only a couple of fights removed from being the WBC super middleweight champion, and it's kind of like, I won't say he's regressed because he's still a good fighter, but he hasn't tried to push himself, to get back into that mid-seater necessarily. So hopefully we can see that happen this year with him.
I want to say something real quick. Cesar said during his fight, he posted in talking in the room, talking boxing and bullshit, that Anthony Jarrell right now is a gatekeeper status.
No, man, no way is he a gatekeeper. One loss don't make you no gatekeeper. And
that's what I was saying.
That said, Tavon takes your casual hat for the evening. He's been on some real casual. He's been on some real casual shit lately. I ain't even gonna lie, man. I'm gonna have to talk to that cat about that one.
Because he lost.
What's up, fellas?
We got your boy Bo on the line, man. Let me get your takes on Let me get your takes on the Anthony Jarrell fight that happened on Friday prior to the Erislandy fight, the main event. What did you think of Anthony's performance, and what would you like to see from him this year? Because it's kind of like he's just been Anthony Jarrell.
Okay. First, let me say, to piggyback off what my partner was saying, I said this in Talking Boxing bullshit, and, that's my dog. I hate to put him on blast. But, Trayvon was trying to get his casual cool points up. So that's why he sat there and called Jarrell a gatekeeper. I guess what it is, I think Trayvon felt bad that, we kind of jumped on Rolando, so he wanted to, make Rolando feel more at home, I guess.
I'm telling you, they are the same exact people. They are the same person.
No, they're not.
But don't this guy not know I hold that crown as King Casual, the real casual in the game?
Yeah, but even you ain't the casual wouldn't say nothing like that about a dude who just 3 fights ago was the champion of the world.
Yes.
And when only one loss to a dude we saw last night in a great fight, only one loss to him does not make you a gatekeeper.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That don't make one loss make you a gatekeeper.
Let me get your thoughts on his fight and his performance. What would you like to see from him? So I'll let you go ahead and speak on that, Bo.
Well, his performance is what you would expect from somebody who hasn't. His last fight was in May. And in boxing, this is something everybody got to understand. In boxing, you're not always going to knock everybody out. I don't care what level, degree you think someone is. There is one aspect of boxing you can never judge, and that's another person's fucking heart. You can never judge another fighter's heart because although this was supposed to be a showcase for Jarrell, but this was also a welcome to America to show what I got fight for the guy that he fought against. Okay? I say this all the time, but Bernard knows this. The cherry pick sometimes don't know he's a fucking cherry pick.
Yes, sir.
And,
yes, sir.
Right. In boxing, you're going to run into cats that you can try to knock them out. But what Jarrell did, in my opinion, was smart. He realized this guy was tough. He realized this guy wasn't going nowhere. He realized he may be in for the long haul. So he paced himself. All right? He fought a smart fight. He fought a disciplined fight. Now, would I have liked to see Jarrell get this guy and knock him out of there? Because I always say, hey, when a guy don't belong in the ring with you, you're supposed to get him out of there. But would I like to see him have got that guy out of there? Yes, I would. But going forward, I just want to see Jarrell more active. I think if he's more active, he'll be a lot more sharper. So when he runs against the guys that he fought, he'll get him out of there. So I would definitely like to see him more active. Like I said, I don't really want to get the fight because it was a lower tier level guy. So it's kind of hard to judge how good you are when you're fighting one of the lower tier guys because pretty much the things that you do good that you're getting credit for, well, you're supposed to do good because this guy's not on your level. All right. I do like the fact that he was a little bit more aggressive early in the fight. Hopefully that continues. But for right now, just stay more busy. I'm glad to see he came in shape. He put his punches together pretty well. You can definitely see the power still there. Go to the body more, move the head more, work on your angles, and just stay busy and get back in title contention. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I definitely think he needs to be in there with somebody big this year because he's, like you were saying, he's not that far removed from being the titleist against a guy, that he fought a very close fight against Badou Jack. But we saw Badou last night, which we'll get into that a little bit later. But, he's obviously a world-class guy at that weight. So to have that as the only blemish on your record, he definitely needs to be pushed.
Who would you match him against right now?
At 168, that's a pretty good question, Bernard. I honestly couldn't say.
I know, actually, and I'm really not trying to be funny, but actually, if Chris Eubanks win his fight,
actually he hasn't fought yet, but that would be something that could be interesting later in the year, or midway through the year. That would be actually an interesting fight. Him and Chris Eubanks for that IBO.
Shout out to the IBO, baby.
And I just want to say that to me and Twan, I think we got that light skin got scared, so he ain't on right now. So we had to switch up the arrangements to save the argument for later. But everybody else, don't worry, we don't get that ass when he get on.
He's actually trying to hold back because of the whooping that James DeGale took last night. The light skins wasn't looking too good last night. They out here losing multiple teeth and multiple teeth.
You know what? Y'all talking that smack now, but he could probably be laid up with DeGale's sister right now. Consoling her.
We're gonna get into the main event, man. We had Erislandy facing Yuri Foreman. He did what he had to do and, got the knockout. It was a little bit of a different style that we saw from Lara in this fight, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and let Bo address this and what we saw from Erislandy Lara in this fight. He was actually moving forward. He was coming forward in this fight, which is something we normally don't see him do. He was more of an aggressor and stalker. So let me get Bo to touch on that and what he thought about the fight.
Erislandy Lara fought a fight that I think he fought it based on what criticism about him was. Now, let me say this and make everybody clear. What Erislandy Lara did is what we would like to see Erislandy Lara do, which is be a little bit more aggressive, be a little bit more worthy of being seen, because the bottom line is the Cuban style of boxing, although it translates into victories, it does not necessarily transform into cash. So you have to have a style. Like Luis Ortiz has a style, and people say, well, he's from the Cuban school of boxing. Luis Ortiz attended the school, but he was not one of its top graduates. Luis Ortiz was never part of the Cuban Olympic team. Okay? Let's keep that in mind. He was never part of the Cuban Olympic team, and the reason why was because they felt his style for the Cuban Olympic team. That's a well-known documented fact. Same thing with Sullivan Barrera. But I like what I saw him trying to come forward. Now let's keep it real here. This was Yuri Foreman, who came out of retirement. All right? But I said this, the reason why Erislandy Lara had to fight the way he fight, and I said this earlier, is because Erislandy Lara has lost a step. He's 34 years old. And to some people on this panel,
did you say 84 years old?
No, I said 34. And I was going to say there's some people on this panel that like to crack jokes talking about some. When it comes to the age of these Cubans, you got to question it. The mama caster, but I got. But he has lost a step, and. Kind of in a way, it was sort of Rigo-esque the way he was fighting, which is he was rehearsing what he was going to do before he did it. If you watch Rigo versus Tion Kennedy, that's what he was doing. He was kind of rehearsing what he was going to do before he did it. He did a lot more moving and staying in the pocket. But, again, it was Yuri Foreman. Yuri Foreman is not known for being a big puncher, and it didn't bother him. But he did get the guy out of there. Now, going forward, I want to hope this is the year that he kicks it up a notch. People say, well, he's not going to fight one of the Charlos. That's fine. But there's a dude out there named Demetrius Andrade. Fight him. If you truly want to, make a splash at 160, you got the Willie Monroes, you got the Gabriel Rosados, you got the Curtis Stevens, you got somebody else gets the name earlier. I can't remember him. But anyway, you got them guys. So there is something out there that you're going to do. But whatever he does, he has to do it in a fashion that's going to make people want to watch him. Now, the knockout last night, although, again, it was Yuri Foreman, it was the knockout that he needed to keep people talking about him. Now, what I want to see him do is incorporate that knockout and don't give up your advantages, which is your movement, which is your angles. But at the same time, that's going to be hard for Erislandy Lara to do. But he has lost a step. But I did like what I saw last night. I'm going on record and say that if he fights Andrade, that's a fight that worries me because that's a gangbanger he's going to be fighting.
Man, and with that said, we had Jack Kulke and Andre finally finalized for, after the second fucking purse bid. I ain't never heard of no shit like that, but they finally finalized.
He got the paperwork signed.
He's putting himself in position to be Lara's mandatory, so that is a fight that we could possibly see this year. And if we don't see it, we need to see either Lara moving up or something, those are the only options I can see for Lara right now. Fight fucking Andre or move his ass up to 160. Because I'm tired of hearing this shit about nobody going to fight him and, all this other stuff. I also wanted to touch on something that was, go ahead.
You know what it reminds me of? There was a fight that took place of two other guys that nobody wanted to fight, and that was Sergio Mora and Paul Williams. And remember how that fight turned out when they got together and fought. So that's what Lara and Andrade need to do right here.
I definitely think this is a dangerous time for Andre. Like you said, he's slowing down a little bit. And for what he was talking about on, they were talking about on the telecast is that he wants to become a guy that was known as a slickster boxer that became more of a knockout artist late in his career. And, they were talking about, like, that's never really been done. There's only been, like, one or two examples of guys that turned into the knockout artists.
You talking about Lara or Andrew?
Lara. He wants to become more of an aggressive fighter and, put people out. But, his defense is predicated on his movement, so it's going to put himself at risk. We've seen him in the Vanes fight to where things looked pretty shaky when Vanes was able to get inside and pressure him. So I'm thinking, I don't want to say he needs a change up in trainers to work on some things, but it's looking like with the style that he wants to take on, he may need to go into a more defensive-minded trainer, because the movement's not as going to be there as much for him because of, getting up there in age and, like that. With that being said, he's going to be going up against a guy in Andre possibly that,
whoop his ass.
taller than him and the movement in his prime.
Pause, time out.
No.
That needs to be kicked
we're not timing out, man. We're not timing out, man.
But anyway, man, Lara should have been, tweaked his style. But like I said, I think I ain't gonna get too much into a fight that ain't happening, but I think Andrew is gonna embarrass him. But anyway, continue on what you were saying, Twan.
Yeah, it's something he definitely needs a style tweak for what he's trying to do, though, and I'm not sure Ronnie Shields puts him in that best position to do that right now. I'm not gonna say he can't. Ronnie Shields is a world-class trainer, so anything can happen, man. That said, we're gonna get into another topic. Before we get our guest on for the week, and this is probably going to be some shit going to hit the fan on this one a little bit. We had Canelo Alvarez versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. announced for May 6th at a catchweight of 164.5 pounds. That's the catchweight. I'm going to go ahead and let Big Cool start with this one, man. I know you got a whole bunch of shit you want to get off of your mind on this one regarding the catchweight and everything else. So go ahead, Big Cool.
Man, I just think it's a waste of time, and I'm going to touch on it in my final blow at the end of the show, but I just think it's a waste of time. HBO doing a disservice, putting fights like this on. I understand for the Mexican, fans that this is a big fight, and I'm not knocking it for that, aspect. Because, like I said, you want to see your huge stars face each other, but to put it on pay-per-view for $60 at 164.5 pound catch weight, which we know that if Chavez Jr. makes it, he's gonna be dead, and it's gonna make it even less, competitive than what it is already going into the fight. I just think the Canelo playing games. I think the HBO has allowed him to play games, and when you don't want to put your ego to the side and work with other people, you get these shitty-ass matchups. I don't care if it's a historical, sentiment to the fight. It could have been done a different way and put on regular HBO or something else. But like I said, I'm going to touch on him a lot more in my final blow at the end of the show. But like I said, I don't like the fight. I won't be ordering the fight. I probably won't even watch it until the week after just because it's just a fight that doesn't need to be made at this particular time. But I'll let Bo Bernard, you touch on it.
All right, let me go ahead and pass it over to B on this one. Bernard, what's your takes on this fight happening at this stage of their careers? This was a fight that probably should have happened, when they were talking about Manny and Floyd happening 5 years too late. Well, this is one of those fucking fights, too. This was definitely a fight that was better served when Chavez was still really active and aggressive. Yeah, when he was fighting at 160, and Canelo's at 154, this was a fight that should have been made then, So let me get your thoughts on that, Bernard. Just in general, I'm not too sure. I don't feel too good about this fight, man. And I don't know how the fuck they got away with this shit, man. Like,
taking the page out of Bob Arum, man. Taking the page out of Bob Arum's book. They just gonna make it because they want to.
Okay,
Bernard, what's your thoughts on it, man?
Okay, my thoughts on this fight is, okay, I'm gonna break business is for Cinco de Mayo. That's what the fight is basically for. The prep, basically, is a Cinco de Mayo fight. Two Mexicans, the son of the top Mexican star versus the top Mexican star right now in boxing. That's why I see it as a business point. Put it at $60, you're selling it, and basically people that's gonna buy the fight. Majority of them are going. Yeah, majority, if not most, are going to be Hispanics and Mexicans on the Cinco de Mayo weekend. Now, as for the fight itself, for the sport of boxing, not a good look. I think it's definitely not a good look. If anything, I'm going to call it for what it is. I think I said this earlier on the podcast. If not, on one of the previous episodes, if not, I'll probably said it on our show, Truth and Facts About Boxing. Oscar De La Hoya is basically protecting his cash cow, but he's building his money up before he sends them in there with Triple G. It's a business move on Oscar's part. I don't like it, but I see what he's doing because he knows. And we're gonna get a little bit later on in the topic about. I don't want to get into the topic too far, but the Golden Boy PPC situation. On that note, Canelo, we know this. Canelo is the cash cow for Golden Boy promotion. Oscar's building that money up, stacking that bread up, and he's gonna once he get done with that, he's probably gonna have him go against Billy Ho Saunders. And if not, he may throw him against Triple G and Santana, depending on how this fight goes. It's a money grab for Oscar to basically make sure he keeps his company afloat with his top star. And if something should Canelo take an L against Triple G, he can always fall back on what was he went against the son of a top Mexican superstar. That's my take on it.
That's the thing. Also, the L's don't matter to Hispanics, man. That's why I'm like, I don't know why Oscar's trying to milk this fucking shit. They don't care if he loses.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
But it's a business thing. I don't want to go too far into it with going into that topic. Yeah. But I will say that part. Hopefully, now we don't go over each other onto the article. But I don't want to go into that part yet. But understand is that that's what it is. It's good I can see for the Mexican heritage in boxing and everything. But as for it's a joke. It's a total joke of a fight. Why won't you just take on? You're moving up to 160. You're supposed to be going to 160, right? Why haven't you taken on a decent contender at 160, like a Willie Monroe? Hell, I know people may not like this fight, but I pretty much would love to see Gabriel Rosado versus Canelo Alvarez.
Oh yeah, that'd be David Lemieux. I thought that was the I will pay for that because I know Rosado comes to bring it.
Yeah.
I pay for Rosado. I pay for Lemieux over Rosado.
Let me get on. Go ahead. Those are definitely good fights that could have been made for him too. Definitely good testers to introduce him to 160. Guys that come to bring it. Let me get Bo's opinion on this one, man. I'm kind of disappointed in Chavez's side as well on this. But let me get your thoughts on this one, Bo, before we get Manny coming on.
Okay. I want to correct you on something. L's does matter in today's boxing. They didn't used to matter back in the old days because if you had two of the best fighting each other and you took an L, your stock didn't go down. We saw that last night. Neither one of them dudes, if whoever would have lost, stock would have went down because they put on a great fight. But in today's world, L's does matter for some reason. Them L's equate to you lack of dollars. But this fight is, my partner said it, it's a money grab. But to a certain degree, here's the thing. Because there are some Mexicans that are unhappy with Canelo move of dropping his belt. Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., as far as even Juan Manuel Marquez, have been very outspoken about what Canelo has done. They feel he's not showing it with pride. So to a certain degree, there is a, I want to say, in-cultural rivalry here between the two. And the Chavez camp was talking something, you touched on them talking something, they was upset with money and all that. Look, Chavez Jr. has been a career fuck-up, okay? I think I said this before. He's been a career fuck-up. This is a guy, right, that is getting every opportunity in boxing at every turn at being able to make some money without putting forth the maximum amount of effort that we know he has to give us. So, but that 164.5, because like I said, you know, there's more to touch up on it doing the Golden Boy thing, and he's right. But that 164.5, that's a mind game. That's really what that is, because you can just say 165. But they said 164.5 because that's a mind game that they want to have over Chavez. And Oscar De La Hoya knows what he's doing. He's buying his time with Canelo Alvarez, and as we get into the other topics, we can elaborate a lot more. But this is a money grab. It's a money grab that the Golden Boy stable needs, and it's all it is to prolong the inevitable, which is the fight, because in everyone's mind, for some odd reason, they are equating this to Pacquiao Mayweather as far as the dollar amount. And I hate to say this, but when this fight takes place, everybody who is equating it to that dollar amount, they're going to be in for a rude awakening.
Yeah, I just hate the whole notion of this. You got to build up everything. You know, me and Bernard actually got into this shit earlier about you know, I think there's levels to it. You know, basically that's what I was talking to him about. You know, there's some fights that do need to be built. You know, Badou Jack versus DeGale needed to be built like that because of their followings. But, you know, we got into it as far as a Wilder versus Anthony Joshua, you know, and, you know, that's not a fight that needs that kind of build-up because these are the two biggest stars in the heavyweight division. You know, Deontay in the States, Joshua in the UK. You can't disagree, man.
Yes,
people come out for Wilder. People come out for Wilder. People come out for Wilder. The proof is already there. So why do you agree about it?
Hold on. Wait a minute, guys. There's something that everybody else will have to understand. The problem with building up Gennady Golovkin and Canelo is, see, the thing about Floyd and Manny Pacquiao build-up was they were still fighting other competitive opponents. They were fighting other quality opponents building up to their
let me get you to try and wrap it up in a minute, too, because we got Manny on the line.
No, that's all I wanted to say was they were at least fighting quality opponents. Golovkin and Golovkin and Canelo aren't fighting quality opponents building up to this fight.
All right. You don't get nobody from the fight.
With that said, we're going to bring in our guest for the evening, man. We got an up-and-coming trainer, possibly 2016 DWA Trainer of the Year. He's definitely up for the run-in. To me, he should get the calling. Manuel Robles, man, trainer of Oscar Valdez, Jesse Magdaleno, Jason Quigley, Terrell Gasha, Dominic Brazil. Like, he's got a real hell of a camp going on out there in Carson right now. Welcome to the show, Manuel.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on.
I'm glad you can make it with us today.
Thank you.
All right, with that said, could you give us a little background about yourself, how you got into the training and how you've gotten yourself into this position now, which, you know, you got 2 world titleists and possibly more to come. You know, what have you done to get yourself in this position? And just give us a little bit of information about your background to our guests or to our listeners.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I've been in boxing since 1980. You know, I first set foot in the gym when I was 9 years old, and of course, I came up through the amateur ranks and eventually became a first amateur fighter, professional fighter then, and I came under my dad. My dad was a very, you know, well-known coach back in the day. Manuel Robles, Chato Robles was his nickname, and he's a well-known coach here in the area here in California. As you know, this is California is it's a hotbed for boxing. And my dad passed away. It'll be 10 years. This March the 3rd will be his 10th year anniversary. So, after my dad passed away, I'd come in under my dad as a coach. Once my dad passed away, I just had to do it on my own. I came under my dad. So back then, my dad trained several world champions, Israel Vasquez and Martin Castillo and Reggie Johnson, which is a 2-time champion of the world, middleweight and light heavyweight champ out of Houston, Texas. And like I said, once he passed away, just pretty much, it was all I was on my own. But luckily, through hard work and dedication and good fortune, that I was able to create on my own. Of course, I am where I am today, and working with some of the promising talent. You mentioned Jason Quigley, and I just added onto the stable Michael Conlon, which is 26th Olympian. He's
wow, from Ireland, right?
From Ireland, correct. He'll be making.
Wow, that's a good look right there.
Yeah. Great kid, by the way. Great kid. So, he's going to be making his professional debut on March the 17th, if I'm not mistaken, on St. Patrick's Day. Right a day before the Triple G and Daniel Jacobs fight at the Madison Square Gardens at the theater, the smaller arena anyway.
Okay.
So we'll be there that day, and then, as you know, the following day it'll be Triple G and Daniel Jacobs. And so, fortunate enough to be able to work with these kids, and like I mentioned, Michael Conlon and Jason Quigley, and of course Jesse Magdaleno and Oscar Valdez being world champions, and up and coming fighters like Terrell Goucher, which is I'm sure he'll be able to get a shot at the world title really soon after his fight on February the 10th, and we'll be in Ohio. So yeah, I mean, okay. And the stable's growing, but we're doing well.
Let me get into details about your work with Oscar Valdez. He's always been a highly touted prospect since he turned pro. 2012 Olympian. Very well known. Gave Vasil Lomachenko one of his toughest amateur bouts. So it was already there that he was going to be something good when he turned professional. He had kind of a few staggers, a few stumbling blocks, and he was able to turn it on just over the past year or so. What are some of the things you have worked? We've seen a change in this style to where we see a lot of the pivoting and shifting in angles that you've incorporated into his game and into his offense. What are some of the other things you continue to work with them on?
Well, the biggest one of the biggest things in boxing that I like to take pride on is defense. I'm as you know, defense wins championships. So I'm always working on defense, and that's one thing that I emphasize, because Oscar, he's an offensive machine. He's really quick. He's really fast. He throws punches and bunches. But one of the main tasks that I've had to encounter with him when I first started working with Oscar was to get him to settle down and to think a little more, and as I mentioned, work on the defense. And the kid is still growing. I don't think you've seen the best of Oscar yet. I think the best is yet to come. But he makes my job easy because he's an extremely hardworking kid, and he wants to learn. He wants to be the best. He doesn't just want to be known as a world champion. He wants his name to be to go on to the record books and eventually make the boxing Hall of Fame and whatnot. But this kid, he's thinking big, man. He's not just a one day wonder, like they say. I mean, this kid, he's for real, man. He's a real deal, and he's extremely talented and hardworking.
I definitely have him as one of my top two in the 126 division. Him and Gary Russell, ultimately, at the end of the day, those are the two best featherweights in the division. That's just my opinion. I've gone on record saying this for quite some time. Let me go ahead and pass it on to my co-host on the show, Bo, Bernard. Big Cool, you guys got any questions you'd like to ask Manuel while we have him on?
Yeah, this is Big Cool. Thanks for joining, Manuel. There are rumors about Dominic Breazeale potentially fighting on the undercard of Deontay Wilder, in his return fight next month. Can you confirm that? And also, have you heard anything about a potential opponent?
Yeah, well, that is correct. Apparently, we are fighting on that card, on the Deontay Wilder card on February the 25th. And well, there's a couple names out there as far as opponents are concerned, but we got this kid. He's got an undefeated record, 17-0, 14 knockout as an opponent. I don't want to mess up his name, but here it goes. His name is Ajagwabe Igono. I think he's South African, if I'm not mistaken. But the kid is undefeated, 17-0, 14 knockouts. So, no easy fight. No easy fights for Dominic.
Also, how has Dominic looked? Because he was in a brutal fight with Anthony Joshua. How has he looked, since returning to the gym? He still looks the same old self? Or could you, notice anything potentially taken away from him after such a brutal fight? Because it was a good fight.
Yeah, well, we fought the best heavyweight in the world, in my opinion. Anthony Joshua, man, he's definitely, with all due respect to him, he's definitely the best heavyweight right now as we speak. And this kid is the real deal, man. So, I think it was a great learning experience for Dominic. And, Dominic came in ready for this fight. And I think he showed that. I mean, we took Joshua into the 7th round, and that's more than any other fighter has been able to do against him. So, he's pretty much been stopping everybody in the net and within the first couple of rounds. So, we did what we could, and he came in ready. And as you know, we had a fight in his backyard at the O2 Arena, man, and that place it was an amazing experience for us all. I think it was a great learning experience, not just for Dominic, but myself included. And, after the fight, he took a little break, but he's back in the gym now. And like I said, Dominic comes from football, man. He was a former football quarterback in college, and that's his real, that was his real background. But now, see, the thing about Dominic, man, he's still learning. The kid is still learning, man. I mean, he was a late bloomer, I guess you can say it. In boxing, he came in late. So every day to him, to Dominic, every day is he comes in and he's learning. With every day he shows up. It's not like, he's been fighting his entire life like most fighters have. They start early as amateurs and then eventually go into the pros. No, Dominic came in late. So, Dominic, he's out there, he's getting ready. He'll definitely be ready for February the 5th. I mean, like I said, we got an undefeated fighter in front of us. So, this kid's coming out to make a name for himself the same way we are. And, we'll be ready. We'll definitely be ready.
Definitely looking forward to his return.
All right, Bo and Bernard, any questions you'd like to ask Manuel?
Bo, you go first if you got anything.
Yeah, Manny, I want to thank you for joining. This is Bo from Truth and Facts, man. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Your fighter switched over to you, Jesse. I'll make sure I don't get his name messed up.
Magdaleno.
Right, Jesse Magdaleno. He switches over to you in the middle of the year of 2016, sometime around June. Then, no more than maybe 3 months just being with you, he gets the fight of his life against Nonito Donaire. And you definitely saw an improvement in him. What did you see when he came to you that you right away knew you had to change? And going into that fight against Donaire, how confident were you that Magdaleno could win that fight?
Well, actually, we probably had about a little bit over 3 months, probably closer to 4 months working together for this fight. And of course, I was approached by Frank Espinosa, his manager, and I was asked if I was interested in working with the kid. Apparently, in the past, Jesse Magdaleno was having issues with self-discipline and weight issues and whatnot. So I took on the challenge. I had an opportunity to meet up with the kid. He came over to the gym a couple of times and got a chance to work with him and talk to him and, first of all, to make sure that he was comfortable with him making a move from his last coach and coming over to the Rock in Carson. So, we hit it off right. We hit it off right off the start, man. I mean, there was good chemistry. The kid bought into my system, and I believe that boxers are just like kids, man. They're just like children. Kids. If any of you guys have any kids, you'll understand that kids are always looking for attention. They're always looking to see, what they want to do is whatever they do. They the first thing they look at is to try to get their parents' approval, and they again they need attention. So I think that Jesse was desperate for attention. First and foremost, I think that he needed someone to be able to not just be a coach, but to be someone to speak to be able to spend time to talk and to I what I try to do with my guys, man, is I try to not just be a coach. It's not just where you come into a gym and you do your workout and then you go home and that's that. No, it goes way beyond that. You have to establish a relationship with their fighters, and you also have to understand, what they're going through, and you got to be able to put yourselves in their positions and understand that, they got a diet, they got to, be away from the family, whether it be coming from another country or a different state. At the end of the day, you're not home. So, again, like I said, Jesse bought into the system, and it's been great. The kid is talented to begin with. The kid is talented, but I think that the most important thing that we had to work on was, of course, his discipline and his diet. And luckily, we were able to make the weight with no problem at all. And that was one of the issues that again, as I said, that I was that I had to deal with, that I had to encounter. But it was never really an issue at all, and not with me anyway. Maybe it was with whoever else he's trained in the past, but not with me. Like I said, I have a system that I take pride in, and it just goes to show that it worked. He won the world title, and of course, many other things that took place. Not just the discipline and the dieting, but the preparation coming into the fight, the game plan that we had. We had more than enough time to get ready for this fight, and at the end of the day, we got it done.
Okay. All right. Let me. I was gonna pass it on to Bernard. I think he was next.
I just had one more question.
No, you want to ask? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta ask you this test question, Mr. Robles. Your boy's a champion in the division. There's another guy up there that's extremely talented, and of course there's Erislandy Gundial. How would you prepare for a fight like that if that was to happen?
Correct. How do you prepare to fight Rigondeaux, man? Rigondeaux's I consider him one of the best fighters in the world. But nonetheless, I mean, I have a kid that's also a southpaw, and Jesse Magdaleno, that's also extremely talented, and he also carries power in his punches. So it would be a great fight if that was ever to happen. It would be a tactical fight, but nonetheless, it would be a great fight for the boxing purists anyway. Because if you look at a Rigondeaux style, Rigondeaux's a boxer that doesn't take a whole lot of chances, And with Jesse, we would have to. we would definitely have to be the ones to pressure the fight and to bring it to Rigondeaux and try to make it an interesting fight. Try to make it a fight where, you know, both fighters are counter punchers. I think you were able to see that with Jesse and Nonito Donaire. So, you know, it'd just be a question of who would be first, and not only that, but counter the counter puncher. In other words, you know, maybe perhaps be the first, be the first ones to draw blood and get Nonito to counter. Get Rigondeaux to counter, and then, you know, counter him back. You know, it's easier said than done, of course, with somebody like Rigondeaux, but that would be one way to possibly fight Rigondeaux. Again, it's easier said than done, but man, you know, I mean, get him to get in, you know, fight him, get on the inside, fight, you know, track him down, cut up the ring, and take a chance. Because against Rigondeaux, I mean, you got to take a chance. If you don't, you're not going to beat this guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All right, Bernard, did you have anything you wanted to ask? I had a couple more questions I wanted to ask Manny as well after you asked yours, Bernard.
I do have a question, Mr. Robles. How do you? I understand you do the physical part of when it comes to training your fighters. How do you prepare them mentally? Is there anything you give them, like a book to read, any type of literature, some type of music to get them mentally prepared for a battle within like a training? Like they're going through an 8-week training camp. What other things do you help them with? Do you spend like a lot more time with them? Do you talk to them? Like not just like in the gym, but I understand you say you build their relationship. What other things do you do? Because I noticed that some trainers have real close relationships with their fighters, and I just want to know.
You know, it's well, you spend more time at the gym than you do at home, man. So this is one thing that I always tell my fighters: you gotta love what you do. You gotta love boxing. You gotta love what you do, because if you don't, you got a real problem. This is not a job. This is something that you love. This is something that you have to be passionate about. Again, you know, I tell them, you spend more time on the job than you do at home. You better learn to love what you do, boy. Because when you're not at home, you know what I mean? You know, so that's one thing that you better learn to love what you do, man. And I deal with fighters. I have different fighters dealing with fighters that come from other parts of the world, you know, and of course here in the United States as well. You know, the Jesse that lives in Nevada that's out here in LA in training camp, Oscar that lives in Sonora, Mexico that's out here in LA doing training camp, and Michael Conlon and you know, Jason Quigley from Ireland. They're away from home. So it's you know, you ask me what I do. You know, it's not just me, but the way they feed off of one another.
Okay.
I think, you know what I mean. I mean, all of these kids want to, you know, they come from great amateur backgrounds. You know, Terrell Boucher being from Cleveland, Ohio, the kid isn't home. It's L.A. Yeah, it's great. It's L.A., but it's not home. You know what I'm saying? So you know, understand that. Understanding the sacrifice. Understanding that you're leaving everything behind, the people that you love, your family, your wife, your kids. And so you better, you know, if you're going to be away from home, you better do it right, you know. So, you know, we just feed off of one another, man. You know, like they say, you know, we're a part of our own environment, you know what I mean? So we create a positive environment, you know, at The Rock. It's always positive. It's never negative. You know, we always try to keep it real, man, and stay humble and keep our feet on the ground, and it's great. You know, it's great. And another thing is you know, we're in Southern California, man. I mean, I consider Southern California to be the boxing capital of the world. So you have a lot of great sparring out here. You know, you got a lot of great champions, a lot of up and coming fighters that, you know, that they make each other better. even if they're not in the same weight class per se, they feed off of one another again, like they feed off of one another, so that it makes my job easy, and they have such determination, but it's generated though in the gym. It's created in the gym, like I said, with the environment. Every day is positive, and you know what, I think what the secret is that you gotta want it just as bad as they do. When you're in the gym every day, as I am, and you're working hard and just as hard as they are, they respect that. Fighters respect a coach that shows up at the gym and it's willing to do whatever he has to do to make sure that the job gets done. Fighters see that. Fighters understand that when you're able to again make sacrifices, because you got to be able to make the sacrifices right there with them. So they see that, and that's what makes a relationship stronger. Even although it's an individual sport, but it's great. Again, they feed off of one another, and just being positive, man.
All right. I got a question I want to ask you based off of one of your answers. You just told us that you'll be working with Michael Conlan from Ireland. A highly talented Olympian. How did that come about? That whole situation with him signing with you to be his professional trainer.
Yeah. Well, I was approached by his manager, Matthew Macklin. He was back in Ireland, and this was shortly after the Olympic Games in Rio, and he called me one day and asked me if I was interested in working with Michael. So, of course, I said yes. Why not? I mean, such a great talent. This kid is not only a European champion, but he's also a world champion, amateur world champion, the first world champion to come out of Ireland. From my understanding, and also a European champion, and I believe he's a bronze medalist at the past Olympic Games, not Rio, but London. So, great talent, man, great talent. And, again, I was approached by Matthew Macklin, and what they wanted to do was to come out of Southern California for a couple of weeks and kind of like try it out and see if he was comfortable with, him coming out to Southern California again and working with me. And we hit it off right from the very first day, man. I mean, we worked like, we were in the midst, and the chemistry was right there. Plus, again, like I said, the environment that we created at the gym, it's such a great environment that he felt right at home. He felt like, man, this is a place I want to be in. This is a place I want to train in. And so he really liked the environment. He really liked the training, the atmosphere. So he went back home, and he just came back again this past week, as a matter of fact, to now get ready for his fight in March.
And could you tell us what weight class he'll be campaigning at, just to clarify that?
I believe he'll be making his professional debut, if I'm not mistaken, anywhere between 122 and 126. So it'll either be as a super bantamweight or a featherweight.
Okay.
But it looks
pretty interesting like divisions right now. Pretty interesting divisions.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, but look, I mean, now with Oscar and Jesse and Michael and a few of the other kids that I work with that are more or less in the same weight class, I mean, they're only going to make each other better. You imagine Michael Collins sparring with Oscar Valdez.
I could imagine the sparring sessions that's going to come out of there. The stories we're going to be hearing. Yeah, exactly. I have one more question to ask you before we let you go. I know we're taking up quite a bit of your time already. You also mentioned your experience in the UK as far as with the Brazil fight against Anthony Joshua. Just give us your thoughts on the difference between the fan bases and what's different. What is America lacking that the UK has in boxing right now? Like you look here everywhere across the world, boxing isn't dying. It's just the states to where we have the question, United States to where we had this question about whether the sport is alive or not. But with that said, could you give us your take on what is America missing that the UK has? Because, like you said, it was a whole different experience with you going over there in the Brazil and Joshua fight. So could you elaborate on that for us?
Absolutely. I believe it's the fan support, man. They have great fan support out there in the UK. It's incredible the way they follow their boxers and support their boxers, no matter what, win, lose or draw, man. They're right there for their boxers, 100% of the way. You saw that. I think you were able to see that a few months ago with Cal Brook and Triple G. Before the fight and after the fight, I mean, people were so supportive of Brook, regardless of the outcome. And that's one thing about. I think that's the difference. The difference is the fan support. They're really supportive of their boxers. They're selling out arenas, man. They're selling out arenas, and it's just incredible, the atmosphere, that I lived that night, man. It was just something that I've never experienced before in my life. You guys see them soccer games, the European soccer games, and the way these fans go crazy at the games, and
yeah.
That's what. Oh man, well that's what it was. But that's exactly what that was. But in boxing, at a boxing match, people singing and screaming and supporting their fighter from beginning to end, even before he walks out into the ring. These people are singing and dancing, and they're just, they're so supportive of again. And not only that, but they showed Dominic a lot of love, man. They showed that, they showed him a lot of love. They showed us great respect. They respect fighters. They understand it's, they understand it's a fight, and it's a sport, more than anything else. So they just two men, stepping into the ring and just trying to win. May the best man win at the end of the day. But at the end, after the fight, man, nothing but love and support from the fans, regardless of the outcome.
All right. I just want to say thank you for your time, Manny. It's been an honor, a pleasure having you on the show. You went into a lot of detail to get your background. It's definitely good to put you on the forefront of the stage, man, because you're definitely one of the trainers that need to be noticed out there. If you don't win the Trainer of the Year this year, which you should, considering you have 2 world champions in your stable within that year, it's going to be a shame. We need to get some of this monotony out of the game. Voting for the same trainer of the year over and over, trying to put some new blood in there. So I definitely appreciate you coming on the show. Fellas, anything you'd like to add or comment before we let Manny go?
Just want to thank you for joining.
Yeah, that's all I want to say. Thank you for joining us, man. Hopefully we can do it again in a few more months.
Absolutely, man. It was my pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Okay. All right,
thank you so much, man.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you. And hope to talk to you guys real soon.
Okay. Good luck.
Okay. Goodbye. Thank you.
All right. Pretty good interview right there. Definitely liked him. Definitely liked him, man. That was my first time actually having the pleasure of speaking with him. We've had a lot of trainers on this show. Definitely one of the more, detailed interviews we've had. I guess we're gonna kick it into our next topic, and I know who's gonna love this one. Cuba Loca. Your hometown boy is fighting for a WBA heavyweight title for Oquendo versus Shannon Briggs.
Shout out to
let me just say, this is the real reason why 2K is on the show right now. If y'all remember on my show, he said he's going to get sick out of nowhere.
He's listening right now, waiting for this topic to get past you, then we're going to talk about the other topics. I can see it right now.
Nah, he need to come on and face this one. He got to face the music now, too. And he can't be picking and choosing. Go ahead, Bo. I'm gonna let you start off since that shit. You grew up with Fred. Used to train and fight with him. In Chicago. He's going through some hell to even get this fight, to happen. And the whole WBA situation anyway is already fucked up in the division. So let me go ahead and get your thoughts on this being announced and 2 40-plus-year-old motherfuckers fighting for a title.
Yeah. Let me tell y'all something. There's Oquendo, a future Hall of Famer. Oh, no. Hold on, y'all stop, man. Come on.
Mute him.
Yeah. Hell no.
No, what's funny was, you guys remember I told y'all that Fez had told me he was going to be fighting Shannon Briggs. I want to say earlier in the year. Earlier last year. Because remember I told y'all I bumped into him at the airport, and we got to talking back up again. I hadn't run into him in a while, and he said then he was going to be fighting. He probably going to be fighting Briggs, and he was down in the UK in the training camp with David Hay. But this isn't a shock. What the WBA is doing. Listen, when Fez they felt got a robbery against, I think it was Shagayev.
Ruslan Shagayev, yeah.
Right, okay. He got a bad decision against Shagayev. And for some reason, the WBA felt that they owed him something. Now, let me say this. I remember when Fez fought Chris Bird. He got a bad decision in that fight. He really beat Chris Bird. He got a bad decision in that fight. There's Vez was fighting David Tua. He was winning every round, but the last minute of the fight, Tua wound up knocking him out in the very last round. So this is a crossroad fight for Fez. This is a
crossroad fight at 50 years old.
At 40-something, but no. But let me finish. If y'all gonna interrupt the Kings, I'm gonna have to put y'all all in timeout. Thank you.
We know who the real Ray is.
The who?
The real Ray.
We know.
I'm the Ray.
But what I mean by crossword fight, and I actually sent Fez this. I'd actually shot him a text. We was talking back and forth, and I told him, I said, man, this is, this is your whole life right here. This is it. You got to do it now. It's never going to happen. And I really meant that. And what I mean by crossword fight is, if Fez Oquendo loses this fight, he needs to just go ahead on and retire. And I'm being dead serious. If he loses this fight to Shannon Briggs, then he needs to go ahead on and retire because it's not going to happen. He's not going to get too many more chances. He's been hanging around the title talks of the WBA for like the last,
20 years.
4 years? Yeah, 4 years, right. So the guy for him to do it against is Shannon Briggs, who happens to be another 40-year-old. My only biggest question is he hasn't been in the ring in a long time as Oquendo. All right? Shannon fought on the David Hay undercard, but Fez hasn't been in the ring for quite a while. I know he's training, and I say this all the time, there's a difference between training and training camp. And the one thing you can never improve on is your chin, and the one thing that never goes away is a punch. Shannon Briggs can punch. Fez Oquendo still has that questionable chin. So it's 240 years old. If he don't win this fight, in my personal opinion, he needs to retire. I'm actually happy for him because he's getting this shot, but at the same time, and I know y'all find it funny, Fez Oquendo is going to go down in the Hall of Fame, y'all.
No.
Why? No, wait a minute. Let me tell y'all why. Because the belt he's winning is a WBA regular belt. It still counts as you being considered a regular constituted champion. So in the books of the Hall of Fame, they will have Fez Oquendo, WBA champion. And I'm going to bring him on this show to do it.
But the Hall of Fame ain't the Hall of Fame ain't for regular dudes. The Hall of Fame ain't for regular dudes. It's for elites. Now, let me go ahead and pass it. Let me pass it on. Big cool. I know you probably gonna talk some shit.
Let's go. I mean, the build-up, I guess, gonna be, good because Shannon Briggs, he can talk. I mean, it's not a good fight, but I expect Briggs to win and win by stoppage and go on to fight maybe Ortiz and lose his title. But whether they win or lose this fight, they both need to retire. It don't matter, man. They way beyond, they stayed their time in boxing long enough, man. I don't want to see them get hurt. Because when I think of Shannon Briggs, I think about that ass whooping he took against Vitali, where the referee just lost his damn mind and wouldn't stop the fight. His corner wouldn't stop the fight. So, I mean, yeah, it's not a good fight. But typical WBA, man, you know, sanctioning something like this and allowing this fight to happen. I mean, but
yeah, it is definitely odd. But before I pass it on to Bernard, I just want to say shout out to Icy Hot for sponsoring this motherfucking fight.
Yeah, they gonna need that shit.
Go ahead, Bernard. Anything you want to add on before we go to our next topic?
Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. I'm going to say this. If this is a crossroad fight for fans, then it's a crossroad fight for Shannon Briggs. I had to go opposite of my partner here. I'm choosing Shannon Briggs because I feel like he's putting in the work. He deserves it just as much as fans. And pretty much he's going to do what he's going to do. And he's going to go in as the Hall of Fame. As one of the
let's just know one of the things I saw that was going around in the groups was about Shannon Briggs as far as him being a titleist in 3 decades. I don't know how fucking accurate that is. I thought it's pretty funny though, if it does actually come to fruition.
You know what?
I'm actually double checking that right now. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, he definitely had one. That was in the 2000s. Yeah, that shit ain't true. So he's a lying motherfucker here. But it would be 2 decades. He would be a champion in 2 decades, so you could at least have that to his resume. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get to our next topic, man, because I'm starting to feel old as both. Just talking.
There's an opening for a fight searcher at Truth and Facts about boxing. Bernard Roos has been fired.
Hey, don't worry about it, people. Y'all can find me at the real Truth and Facts about boxing on YouTube. I've already got it set up. You know what I'm saying? The real
first the fat boys break up, and now this.
Oh man!
Wait a minute, hold on, dog. Why we gotta be the fat boys? I'm 175. Hell, you came with the fat boys? You couldn't think Run DMC or some shit?
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought, man. But we're going to get into our next topic, man. It's looking like the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Roman Chocolatito, Gonzalez, is opting not to face Carlos Cuadras in the immediate rematch, and he's going to be facing Srisaket Sor Rungvisai as his mandatory challenger for the WC belt. And you know what? I'm going to let you guys touch on this before I even talk about it. Let me start off with Bo on this one. I know you've been pretty, hit the same point over and over about what you see happening with Chocolatito and where he's going. Let me get your thoughts on this fight and him facing the mandatory as opposed to a Cuadras rematch, because you've been pretty consistent in your statements about this.
Well, it's what Cuadras told them, the WBC. They want him to fight Cuadras rematch. He said, I haven't agreed to fight anybody because y'all haven't shown me the money to fight these top contenders. And that's when the WBC changed their tune. And they said, okay, well, we thought it was an agreement for you to fight Cuadras in the rematch. Guess who was wrong? You want to fight a mandatory, I have no problem for it. And Cuadras has been studying about this, and I am on his side when he says, if you want me to fight these top contenders, you have to pay me more money. Now, again, I don't want to go too far into detail because when we get to this breakdown about one of the topics, everything will be explained. But let me say this. Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez is the number 1 pound-for-pound dude. He has won titles in 4 different weight classes. When he got off that fight with Cuadras, he looked at his check, looked at his face, looked at his check, looked at his face, and he said, y'all out y'all goddamn minds. That's exactly right. He said, y'all out y'all goddamn eyes. And when they asked him to do it again, he told them again, estamos los locos obritos, which is, are y'all fucking crazy? Okay? Bottom line is, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez deserved to be paid for some of these fights that they want him to take, and I wholeheartedly agree with him. When you are number one pound for pound, you should get number one pound for pound money. Now, I don't know what the amount is, but I definitely feel a guy who has done what he has done and has been on a pound for pound list for the last 2 years deserves some consideration and listening to. Quadra's fight, if it is a rematch, will do bigger and better than it did the last one because the first one was good. If you want him to fight Inoue, which we know is another good fight, then you're going to have to pay him because, again, that is a good fight. We can no longer ignore these little dudes just because we feel, or I take it back, just because mainstream media feels that this ain't something to present to the casuals. That's not up to mainstream media to decide. That's not up to the casuals to decide. And what I find amazing about this is we always say these fighters put everything on the line. And, you know, when it comes to the known fighters like Gennady Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez and Chavez and the known fighters, we hear, oh, you know, these fighters are putting everything at risk. They need to get paid. But here's a fighter that's been putting at risk 4 different fucking weight divisions. He needs to get fucking paid.
Yeah, and when it comes down to where Triple G's opponents are getting paid the same amount as the number one pound for pound fighter, that's definitely a problem. It's time. Chocolatito should be headlining cards. He doesn't need to be under fucking Triple G's umbrella. You know what I'm saying? He can headline his own motherfucking fights as exciting as his fights are. Like, he doesn't need to be under Triple G's shadow. You know, give him his own budget, give him his own slot. You know what I'm saying?
You don't need to be in nobody's shadow.
When I was still in the hood, doing some things, some fizzle, you know, we called it giving him his ticket. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's time to give Chocolatito his own ticket, man. I'm gonna go.
You don't need to be in nobody's shadow. The machine that's behind Canelo should be put behind Chocolatito because regardless of what you say to me, Chocolatito has not ever, nor will he ever drop a fucking belt to not face somebody.
Yeah. Good point, bro. Very good point, man. Let me go ahead and pass it on to Big Cool. Anything you want to add on to this topic as far as this fight sensation is mandatory as opposed to going after one of the other big guns, you know, in the weight class?
I mean, he doing what he want to do. I mean, it's just gonna be interesting to see how much he has left when, you know, come fight night, because the guy he's fighting is aggressive and a big puncher, throws a lot of punches. So it's gonna be interesting to see, you know, how he reacts. But I expect him to win. But I'm with both of y'all. You know, we discussed it. He should. Who the fuck drinking? What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I bet this Bernard.
Bernard over there opening some goddamn chips again. No eating potato chips on the goddamn show. We didn't told you that.
Man,
Bernard.
mute that shit, man. Just hit the mute button, man.
Niggas in them damn potato chips.
Oh, I had to get him back to fall asleep last week on the show.
But I made sure that mother was muted, I believe. But anyway, yeah. Damn, it threw me off. But anyway, yeah, I agree with Bo and you, Twan. He should be getting paid and be headlining his own cards. I mean, he done fought a list of guys that's quality contenders, and, you know, I guess that's the HBO way, man. They pick and choose who they want to throw the money out to. But, again, I'll talk about that later on in the final blow.
Yeah, we definitely going to touch into that, man. Early in the year, and we still got a lot of questions, you know. But we let's go ahead and move into our next topic. We don't need to elaborate on the fight, on that fight too much, you know. It's a mandatory. We spoke, like we said, pay the man. Pay the man. You want him to fight a Nui Quadras rematch, you know, fucking El Gallo, Estrada. You know, these are guys that could possibly take his ass out. Pay him.
Yeah.
I'm saying if he's gonna go out on his shield, he need to be paid for it, you know, because once he loses, he's gonna go back to obscurity to most people because it's a casual, you know, we're dealing with casual fan bases these days. So, you know, he need to get paid while he can. Shit, where is this motherfucker at, man? Because we about to get into it right now. I'll try and prolong it one more second.
He about to come in this bitch like he Goldberg or something. Intro music ain't playing.
Yeah, said the alpha male. The alpha male.
That's all you gonna hear. Yes, that's all you gonna hear.
You know, come ripping off his shirt, alpha male.
Finally.
We got another interesting fight that was announced, man. You know, I won't say I like this fight, but I can see where it's going. Ricky Burns, he will be fighting Julius Indongo in a unification bout at 140-pound division in April. If you don't know, Indongo was the guy that upset Edward Charosky, the guy that everybody thought was going to take Terrence Crawford out, but got his ass knocked out by a nobody. Yeah, so Ricky Burns will be trying to unify titles with Julius Indongo in April. Pretty interesting fight. I won't say it's an interesting fight because there's still a lot that's not known about Indongo. I'm still surprised that he won the fight, that he did the way he did. But they'll be fighting for the WBA and IBF title unification. I'll go ahead and start this one off with Bernard. I'm not sure how much you know about Indongo, but just what you think about this unification bout for Burns. And I'll touch on something else out of this, but I'll get your initial thoughts on this fight being announced.
My thoughts on the fight are pretty much like this. This is what we've been asking for. Unification bouts, the best fight the best. I understand Indongo just won the belt, but to see him jump from the one champion to another champion and Ricky Burns, I give him credit. I give credit to Ricky Burns for taking this fight. So I'm looking forward to seeing the fight. I think it's a good potential fight. That's what we were asking for. We just got done with one unification bout with Badou Jack and James DeGale. We got another one coming up in March with Foreman and Garcia. And then that one in April, it's like a good year in boxing for unification bouts. So I like it.
And I'll go ahead and pass it on. You know, if Burns is successful in unifying the titles, we could end up seeing him and Crawford fight for all the damn belts. What do you guys think about the potential of that? Let me go ahead and pass it on to Bo first on this one. I'm thinking Burns will be successful, and it could set up a mega, like, we could have the first actual unified champ in a minute. I mean, of all four belts. So let me get you guys' thoughts about that possibility, man. Bo, go ahead.
Actually, I'm going to do something that's going to be out of character here. I'm picking the upset. I'm actually picking Indongo to beat Ricky Burns. I'm going to tell you why. I've watched some of Indongo's fights since he won that fight. Now, although Troy Vinovsky is a questionable opponent, the fact is, if you watch some of his fights, I like some of the things that I see from Ricky Burns. He struggled in a fight against a guy by the name of Class, and the reason why he struggled was Class kind of made it a gritty, grimy fight. He was coming in on him. But Indongo is like a 140-pound version of Manny Pacquiao. He bounces in and out. He throws punches from different angles. He throws the straight. He got power in that straight left. He throws it down. He moves left to right. There's not a lot of footage on him. I think there's probably like 3 YouTube fights on the guy. But I like what I saw there. Now, what I don't like about him, he keeps his head straight up in the exchanges. He goes back with his head straight up. Okay? Now, let's look at Ricky Burns. Ricky Burns is a guy that when he has stepped up his level of competition against some of the more elite, skillful fighters, he's taking L's. Okay? And he has fought mainly over in the UK. I think right now momentum is on the side of Indongo. He won the title. He's athletic. He has some skill. And some of the things that I saw as far as him pumping that jab, throwing a lot, he throws punches in lots of combinations from various directions. And I think that could give Burns problems. If you go back and you watch when Burns fought Terrence Crawford, that's the same thing Terrence Crawford did. He just stayed on Burns. If you go back when Burns fought even Omar Figueroa, Figueroa was able to pressure. Yeah, Omar Figueroa was able to pressure him. And that's something that Indongo can do because he, like I said, he does earlier bouncing out, but he constantly has his hands going. when he knocked out Trevanowski. He threw a couple jabs, and he threw a feint jab to the body and just boom, straight left hand out of nowhere.
Couldn't see it, couldn't see it coming.
Right.
It was slow as hell, but you couldn't see it coming. That was like the slowest left I've ever seen, and this motherfucker got dropped.
Right, I mean, and let's keep in mind, Ricky Burns is not the biggest puncher. The guy has 41 wins, only 14 knockouts. That's where Indongo has 20 wins with like 12 knockouts. So he is a puncher. So I'm going for the upset in Indongo. I just from what I saw, and I think he's riding on a higher wave. And I also feel like Ricky Burns may be looking past Indongo, like you said, too, unifying. But
he was even rumored to be fighting Adrian Broner as well. So,
right. He was rumored to fight Adrian Broner.
That is a good point.
Okay, and also let's keep in mind, Burns hasn't fought since I want to say October of 2016. As to where Indongo, he fought a little bit earlier, so he's still someone that still has his motor going. It's going to be an interesting fight. Burns has been in some wars. Burns has gotten himself in some wars, so it's going to be an interesting fight to see what's left.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and get Bernard's take on something here. I actually forgot. This is pertaining to Julius Indongo. Not Bernard, but 2K. Shit, I'm all over the place today. Big Cool. Save me, brother. Save me, Big Cool. Yeah, man. Let me get your take on as far as Julius Indongo. He's the IBF belt holder, as we previously mentioned. Not a lot of big names in that division. Well, as far as the IBF goes, not a big names on that list. Mighty Mo Hooker and Frankie Gomez are probably like the two most known guys other than Sergey Lipinich. Rated by the IBF right now. So do you think he's going about this too soon as far as trying to cash out or take on the unification bout when he could have taken on one of the other guys in the IBF and made a quick, little buck defending, a top 10 guy?
I mean, if Hooker was offered to him, I would have took that shit. But I mean, you should never ever turn down, Anyway, you should never ever turn down a unification bout when you know what I'm saying, at this point. And I think we both said Ricky Burns is right for the taking right now. He's been in a lot of wars, and he could be overlooking, this guy towards, either Adrian or a rematch with Terrence Crawford, which I think loses either fight and by knockout. But I mean, take your chance with the unification bout. Set yourself up for an even bigger money fight if you can beat Ricky Burns and see where the chips fall. But yeah, he could have taken, a Hooker or Frankie Gomez, and those definitely winnable fights for him because those guys have, kind of underachieved, to this point in their career. But like I said, when you got a unification bout, I think you should go that route, especially considering, the guy he, will be facing, Ricky Burns, who, like I said, got a lot of miles on his body, been a lot of wear and tear, and, he's been in some grueling fights. And I think that I don't want to fuck up the guy's name, but I think that he's a live dog. Yeah, Indongo. I think he's a live dog in this fight. If it comes through. So take your chance with Ricky Burns and see how it goes.
All right, we're gonna get into our next topic. On that note, we got another fight that was announced that's going to be added to the Frampton and Santa Cruz undercard. Which is pretty. I won't say it's a good stay busy fight for him. At least Selby will be defending his title against Jonathan Victor on the undercard of that fight coming up. Pretty late addition to the fight considering it's going to be in 2 weeks. This was just announced, so I guess like I was saying, this is just a stay busy fight for him. And I think this is something to set up a fight between him and whoever wins this bout. I'm guessing. Because, there's been talks about Selby and Frampton fighting over in the UK, recently as well. So I'll go ahead and get you guys' thoughts of him being added on to this Frampton Santa Cruz card, and I'll pass it to the casual because he's been on this whole build-up shit lately. So I'll get his perspective on it.
Twad, you a little hurt? No, I think it's a smart move. Look what they did last year.
No, this is one of the ones I could actually agree with you on. Like I said, there's levels to it. I don't think every fight needs that kind of build. Every fight don't need that kind of build up.
I ain't trying to hear all that, but
You remember who got the mute button? You remember who got the mute button, dog?
You know what I'm saying? That means you're a winning motherfucker, dog. You let me speak. Let me speak on it. Now,
ahead, bro.
What happened last year? You had James DeGale and Badou Jack on the same card to build up that potential fight for them that just happened last night. You're doing this with Lee Selby, and whoever wins, he gets the winner of Cruz or Frampton. It's a smart move. It's a good move. Good move. We already pretty much. I'm not saying Frampton got it in the bag. I'm not going to say that. But we know, I think the matchup we all would like to see is Frampton versus Lee Selby at 126. And I think it's a great addition to have on the undercard. And it's more exposure for Lee Selby as well. So that's what
you said Frampton versus Lee Selby? Is that what you said?
Oh, this nigga 2K.
Hold on.
Nigga kicked the door down. This nigga came in.
He came in starting.
And he got Bernard and Bo
Let me have this one. If he caught on to me late, and then listen to the whole thing, he's an asshole for that.
No, I heard the whole thing. I've been on for like the past 2.5 minutes. I heard the whole thing. Now what I'm trying to say is, I like Lee Selby. I like the nigga. But Carl Frampton wipes this motherfucker with the floor with this motherfucker.
Did I say who?
Are you serious?
No. Hold on, time out.
This nigga came from nowhere.
Bring the drama. The drama show. The real big drama show.
Did I say Carl Frampton was going to be ugly? I said no, that's all I said.
Bernard, you said Lee Selby and Carl Frampton is a fight that people would want to see. I disagree with that. No, they don't.
Okay.
The UK fans want to see.
That's your
I know fans. Like the fight at 126 that niggas want to see right now has something to do with Gary Russell and somebody else, nigga. Motherfuckers don't want to see Carl Frampton.
Hey, who the fuck is somebody else here, nigga?
Nigga, Carl Frampton, okay, as long as it's Gary Russell against either Carl Frampton, the winner of Carl Frampton, Leo Santa Cruz, it could be Gary Russell versus Lee Selby. Basically, motherfuckers in America, where boxing fucking matters, really, they want to see Gary Russell. Because this nigga lost to Lomachenko, and he's actually looked better since losing to Lomachenko by beating Johnny Gonzalez. Lee Selby's not even on the fucking map here, dog. If you talk to a lot of boxing enthusiasts from America, they don't even think Lee Selby's even that good. And they think he's the weakest champion in the division. Now, I like him. I like Lee Selby. But
that's when Frank One put him on his ass.
Yeah, Lee Selby can't be any of the top 126-pound fighters, fam. He can't.
Nah, not at all. Nah.
Hey,
this is only a fight made for the UK. That's the only thing this is.
Didn't he struggle with Montiel?
Eric Hunter put him on his ass.
Yeah.
He struggled against Eric Hunter. Eric Hunter is not as good as Carl Frampton.
No, he's not. I mean, if it doesn't say Gary Russell or Oscar Valdez on that main event card, ain't nobody trying to see anybody else at 126 other than Carl Frampton and Leo Santa Cruz, which is coming up next. That's what I'm saying. But Carl Frampton and Lee Selby, I don't hear nobody asking for that fight, dog. I really
not in America.
But I really don't even hear motherfuckers in the UK asking it. Like, they will support it, absolutely, because it's two UK fighters. But in all honesty, I don't hear anybody anywhere asking for that fight, dog. That's just,
UK is the only place I hear about the fight that, being big and wanting to take place, especially what's the name? Eddie Hearn's been doing the whole thing. He wants to bring Frampton home. He needs to be fighting at home at least once a year. So it's one of their moves to take it to the UK. I don't think they're thinking about the 126 division at large or the the states. It's pretty much a local thing. So it is a big fight that can be made over there. But like as far as this implications on the 126 division. That fight has little bearing to deal with who really is the top two fighters in that division, which boils down to Oscar Valdez and Gary Russell Jr. With that said, we're going to kick it into the topic. We've been delaying for this motherfucking light-skinned nigga for the past 2 hours or so.
Pause. Just because this nigga come in the room, you skip everybody else's opinion about the fight? That's what you're doing now?
Bo,
you trying to get on some alpha male now too? You trying to get on some alpha male now too?
Look, this is what I don't. Hold up. This is what I don't understand. I don't even know why Bo always argues, nigga. You second best, nigga. You second, my nigga.
That would be your best friend, Daniel.
Why you always?
Eugene Jacobs.
You always.
This fight with Lee Selby is a stay busy fight. If you look at Barros' record, whenever he stepped up, he took losses to the guys he stepped up to. Selby should have passed him, but we don't know because he hasn't fought a long time. He may have a hard time, but it is what it is. Now, let's move on to the next topic.
He just both guarded.
This motherfucker took my goddamn job. But I ain't even moderating. I ain't moderating shit no more. Over there, Bogart.
I don't even know what the nigga said, but go ahead, Twan. That's how much I listen. That's how much I listen to Bo. I don't even be knowing what that nigga be saying. Go ahead, Twan.
All right, man. We gonna do our review of last night's cards, man. We actually have 4 fights that I thought were pretty good. We had a women's fighting as well. It's a pretty stacked lineup. Even Thomas DeLorme, had a little 8-rounder on there, getting back in the midst, just since he joined TMT stable. But we're going to talk about, I guess, 4 of the fights that took on. I don't know who actually saw the Kirtov and Aline fight, so can I get a heads up on the show who actually saw that fight?
I missed it.
Kirtov versus Aline?
I saw one round of it. That's it.
Okay.
You saw it,
Yeah, I saw the whole fight.
Okay, but me and Bo take care of this one, man. I actually seen Aline fight on a PBC. He was actually on the Adonis Stevenson and Thomas Williams undercard last year, so I seen him fight before. Dude is real. He's sneaky, you know what I'm saying? He's different, Kirtov.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Nah. He comes out there to fight though. He's put on some good performances and been in some nice fights though recently. But, Kirtov was supposed to be the next thing coming out of the, Eastern Euro scene. He's was rated by, number 2 by the WBC and was calling out Gennady Golovkin and all kind of other shit. He came in there and got his ass smoked by a dude that ain't really a knockout puncher. So, Bo, let me go ahead and get your thoughts on what happened. What does this mean for Aline? He's going to get the boost in the WC rankings. It's looking like, and he's put himself in title contention. So I'll go ahead and get your thoughts on this, Bo.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good fight for him. He made an easy fight hard because he was the better boxer, and for some reason, when he hurt the guy that he hurt, he got in his head that he was a power puncher, and you can see he went for the fences. That's why in the second and third round, he really wasn't doing nothing. Looked like he was gassed, and that's when Kovalev was able to come on. And later on, when he started going back to his boxing skills, he was able to capitalize on it and get the knockout. But as far as, I think he's the WBC silver champion, which makes him a contender for Gennady Golovkin belt. No way, shape, or form is he ready for Gennady Golovkin right now. He needs to fight probably some more of the lower tier guys, because what I saw last night told me that number one, he's not disciplined. He can get wild, and he doesn't stick to a game plan. Even his corner was telling him, "What are you doing? That's not your style of fight." And it really wasn't. He made a fight that should have been easy, hard. Glad to see him get the victory, but if you're which I don't understand what it is with some of these fighters. If you know what you have to do, you spend all these weeks in training camp. You know what you have to do. You prepare for it. And then you go in the ring and you abandon the game plan. That's just not smart at all, period. Especially, it might work at the lower tier, but when you start getting up in the higher tier, that's not going to help or pay off. So, good victory for him, good bump up. But as of right now, I really don't even see him beating some of the B-level fighters right now with the way that he fought yesterday, because he'd be, like I say, he abandoned his game plan. He's not known for being a power puncher, and he made an easy fight hard, and I don't understand why guys do that. But congratulations to him and winning the belt. But nah, he got to fight somebody else and show me something else before I can start getting high on this guy.
Yeah, it was definitely probably a shocking fight. You know, like I said, Kirtar was the guy that everybody was looking on to come up in the 160 division recently, considering, you know, everybody's been avoiding Triple G and whatnot, and this is one of the guys that was willing to take him on. With his lack of head movement and chin, losing to a guy like a Lean, man, yeah. Lee DeBella put a lot of stock in that dude, man. And
so, hey, was this the dude that the video going on Facebook, him doing he outside or doing some shit, or was it him?
I'm not sure if I've seen the video or not. But we go ahead and take it on there. Lean, like I said, it's a good win for Lean. He's done a lot with his career, more than what was expected of him. In his past few fights, he's done a lot for his career since you know, the PBC fight, being on the undercard of Adonis Stevenson, and now this fight. You know, he's now potentially going to be able to fight for a title. Of course, he's not. I don't see him as being even one of the elites or a top 5 in the division, but you know, he's earned this stake. So you know, you can't take nothing away from the guy. Let's talk about our females. Well, my female, Amanda Serrano. Y'all better not be looking at her. Or
you can have her. I got Cecilia. You can have her.
Okay. Yeah, and I got James DeGale. I got 2. So I don't know. Bo,
you can't get James DeGale's sister. She don't fight, nigga. That don't count.
Hey, I don't fight either, so I think that counts with me. So I'll take her though. Sure.
All right, well, we had Amanda Serrano taking on Yasmin Rivas in a junior featherweight title belt. You know, a pretty exciting fight. You know, Amanda Serrano won by unanimous decision. I'm not sure who caught the fight, but it was pretty a lot of action. You know, Yasmin came to bring it. You know, like we knew she would. So I'll pass it on to TK. I don't know if he was able to see the fight or not.
Yeah, I saw most of it. I didn't see it all, but from what I saw, it went down exactly how I thought it would. The prediction video I made on my channel. I knew it was going to be a rough and tough fight for Amanda Serrano simply because of who Yasmin Rivas is and because of Amanda Serrano's style. I mean, she's not the type to stand back, counterpunch a highly aggressive fighter like Yasmin Rivas was. She's the type to apply aggression herself. I had said on the podcast, and I know I said it on my channel, that Amanda Serrano reminds me of a woman's version of Oscar Valdez, and with how she kind of sits down on her punches, goes to the body. But, man, Yasmin, who had 9 losses coming into this fight, had never been knocked out. And if you look at her fight, she's been in some fucking wars. So I knew that regardless of what Amanda Serrano was going to be doing, stylistically, Yasmin was still going to be there to give as much as she's taken. So it was an excellent fight, man. Amanda Serrano won it by unanimous decision. I felt that was the excellent call, or the right call. And we'll see where she goes from here. I still wish she could make 147 to fight my girl, but that shit ain't going to happen.
Yeah, that ultimately would be one of the biggest fights we could see. I like what was being done with the showcasing of the women's fight stuff. So I'm happy that was actually shown last night. She got a chance to showcase, with the top guns, man. That's real good for women's boxing. I didn't like what Floyd Mayweather did at the final press conference, but she was looking good, Amanda. You was looking real good. Holla at me, baby. Seriously. Let's go into another fight that was for a title. We had Gervonta Tank Davis taking on Jose Pedraza for the IBF junior lightweight title. Man, Tank came out there and did his thing, man. Came out there and got the knockout against Pedraza. I'll go ahead and start off with I kind of want to get the casuals' take on this fight and everything.
I
don't know why.
Hey, all I'm going to say is this. last week I predicted a 6-round TKO. I was off by 1. He got it in the 7th. Hashtag no breakdown needed.
I don't even know what his hashtag was because he picked up his chips again.
No, I said hashtag no breakdown needed. From me. Pass it on to T-King. Let him break it down.
Now, that was a very good casual response. I'm glad you kept it short, nigga.
Short, just like you. Just like you.
Go ahead. Okay. Let's get your analysis and breakdown of everything that Pedraza did wrong in this fight and everything that Tank Pitt did right.
Oh, shit. Hey, if he don't get it, we going to be here all night.
Exactly. Hey, you right about that. Hey, Bo, right about that shit, man, because there's a whole lot of shit I could say. So I'm going to just say this, man.
Give us the clip note version.
I know. You know, one thing he did not do a lot of was be on his back foot. I'm happy for him about that because that was probably one of the biggest things that I thought that he was going to do that would get his ass beat. But he substituted it for something that he should not have done, and that was stay directly in front of Tank Davis. Why, on God's green earth, dog, would you? And it's funny because in the interview prior to the fight, the nigga told the person interviewing him in Spanish that he was going to frustrate Tank with his movement. He was going to beat him up on the inside and use his movement to frustrate him. But he did not do that. This nigga stayed on the inside, but he stayed right there in front of him. Now, in my prediction video, me and my co-hosts we agreed that, yes, he should somewhat take the fight to Tank because if he goes on his back foot, he'll fuck around and get knocked out, right? But you have to turn this nigga. If you got him in front of you, throw combinations and turn him. Keep the fight in the middle of the ring. Also try to keep at least mid-range distance between you when you turn him because you're allowing yourself to get a combination off at a good distance with full extension on your punches. Also, you have him at an angle. You know what I'm saying? He did absolutely none of those fucking things. Instead, he fought as if he was 2 feet tall, had a 2-inch reach. That's how he fought. Like he needed to be right underneath Tank. So Tank was like, fuck it, I'm going to tee off on this nigga then. And then Jose Pedraza already doesn't have defense to begin with. And that's one of the biggest things that I said in my prediction video. His defense is lacking. And, of course, my man Bo said it as well as I did. His IQ is fucking low as fuck. He doesn't have the IQ to actually be able to beat a guy like Tank. And we've seen it in this fight, man. I mean, this nigga is probably one of the dumbest fighters at 130 right now, dog. Like, he's one of the dumbest fighters down there, fam. Like I'm looking at this fight. I was never high on his IQ or his boxing ability anyway. I thought Edner Cherry beat him clearly. Edner Cherry beat him with fucking pressure. I knew in that fight that he does not respond well to pressure. Okay, so I was already not high on him anyway. But after this fight, dog, he's probably one of the dumbest fighters at 130, dog. Real talk. I don't know if I want to see him against anybody else in the division. I mean, because the blueprint's out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he beats somebody with no power, I mean, if you fight somebody with no power, he has a chance. If he fights any power punches that have some type of pressure, he'll fuck around and get stopped again, man. Good win for Tank. I think all of us picked Tank to win on this podcast. For me, it was an easy pick. Shout out to Bernard. That nigga picked the knockout. He's the only one that picked the knockout. But as far as picking Tank as the winner, it was an easy pick, man, and that's what we got.
All right. I just want to say it's kind of a weird thing because, Pedraza and his father are woofing big time about not being able to get no fights and, discrediting pretty much Heyman in the headlines recently are, leading up to this fight, even though he had some big fights on the table that he decided to turn down and, ultimately he just put himself in a bad position, especially now that he's lost his belt. And a division that's got quite a few names in it and good possible fights that could happen, albeit the Top Rank and Golden Boy and, all these these entities do business together. But there's some interesting fights that can be made at 130. I'll go ahead and pass it on to Bo on this one as far as what did you like from Tank in this fight, man? Because I'm like, he won, he did his thing, but, there's still some shit, some room, a lot of room for improvement from him. So I'll go ahead and let Bo take that one.
Well, what I did like from Tank Davis was he moved his head a lot more in this fight than I've seen him do in recent fights. Now, I'm not saying he moved his head a lot because he was getting hit with that jab, but he moved it a lot more than I'm used to seeing him move it. He actually used the jab, and I think it was, I don't know if it was 2K or Seth in one of those shows where one of them said Tank Davis, has to incorporate a jab. So he actually used the jab. He didn't necessarily have that pit bull mentality where he come at you, but he didn't have to because Pedraza fought a dumb fight by coming at Tank. He tried to bully the bully, but didn't have the bully's firepower. And that's ultimately what happened. Now, he also did a good job of going to the body. He hit Pedraza with a body shot that he just never recovered from, which eventually led to the knockout. His movement was a lot better as far as him going side to side. What I don't like from Tank Davis, him, Broner, and a lot of motherfuckers, stop trying to imitate that goddamn Floyd Mayweather shoulder roll. That's not your shit. You don't know how to do it very well. Stop doing it. Stop punching with every punch so hard, which is the reason why during the rounds, he needs 30 seconds to almost a minute of inactivity because he had to let himself recuperate because he was gassing
quite a few times. He did gas quite a few times in there.
Hell yeah.
Because he likes to throw everything hard. And I said this earlier with Bernard. When you're young, you get away with that. But when you start getting older, it's going to affect you. And you can definitely tell he's depending more on his athleticism and power more than anything right now. Again, you're young. That's fine. When your ass get old, that shit is not going to work. But there's some interesting fights for him at 130. I'm
gonna let the other two speak on those because I kind of asked their question. Big cool with Tank winning this title. He threw his name in the mix with some of the other top guys at 130. The Corrales, the Lomachenkos, and all that. Post-fight press conference, Floyd pretty much alluded to, they're not going to rush him into anything as far as unification. Who do you think he should be fighting next right now? Ultimately, I don't think he's ready for any of the other guys at 130 right now either. Sosa might be probably one of the only guy he may be able to get in the ring with, and I still think there's too many holes in his game for even Sosa right now. Big Cool, let me get your thoughts on who you think he should be fighting right now. If he's not going to be going after the unifications right away, what are some of the fights you would like to see Tank in?
I'd like to see him face Tevin Foreman.
Absolutely.
A good fight. Foreman is a very good fighter. He really is. But
now, do you see that fight realistically happening? Do you see Floyd letting Tank go that route against Tevin Foreman right now? that boy is on the tip.
I don't know. Probably not. But there's no need to, hold that belt hostage. I'm not saying go for the big dogs like Lomachenko and the top guys right now, but Farmer, I guess, maybe a couple notches underneath those guys' level. David showed that he definitely got it off on the offensive end. He definitely need to work on his defense, continue to improve the head movement, and cut down on the shoulder. But his offensive game is top notch, man. The way he was ripping those uppercuts, those body shots. It's a thing to watch when he let his hands go. But he might be, I don't know how high his ceiling is, but he might be what he is, and a fight with Foreman, I don't think if he did lose it would ruin him or anything like that. It just maybe it'd be a hard lesson learned, but I think that's a fight that they should explore, sometime later for this year. But like I said, I can't really go too much because I ain't like 2K. He deep in these divisions like that, but Tevin Foreman is definitely a name that sticks out to me that will be a very good fight for him sometime later this year.
I would give you the Floyd Mayweather answer. Absolutely not. He ain't gonna fight Tevin Foreman.
Hell no.
So some of the things I was actually thinking that he should be in there with, I could see him fighting right now, with Stephen Smith. Fortuna, Stephen Smith, Liam Walsh, Billy Dibb. Like those are, those are some of the guys that I thought he may be able to be in the ring against immediately. Put together a nice string of wins before he does decide to possibly, take on a bigger fight or unify.
What do you guys think
about possible? What do you think about a possible Francisco Vargas fight?
Nope.
Not right now.
I think he did.
Nope.
Okay. Still not seeing
I think he should. I think he should. Yeah, y'all know how I feel about motherfuckers getting championship belts. At that point in time, you are open to fighting. Yeah. You are open to fighting the best in the division because you are regarded as one of the best in the division. There is no such thing as getting a belt and saying, well, I'm going to fight these B-level guys for about 15 fucking fights before I actually fight somebody who's the best in the division. Fuck that. He need to get in the ring with all the niggas. Lomachenko, Francisco Vargas. If he could get those fights, get them for him. Why? Because he's the fucking champion right now. Now, will Floyd do that? Absolutely not. Floyd will get him fights with guys that Twine just mentioned. Motherfuckers that don't belong in the same ring with him. Shit. I don't, what, the way Floyd is, Floyd is my favorite fighter of this era, but as a person and as a promoter, I can't stand this nigga right now, dog. What Floyd would probably do.
We was actually talking about it. Okay.
Hold on. No, that's it. Hold on, Bernard. What Floyd would probably do is go pull Nicholas Walters' ass up out of
I was just about to say that.
And put him in the ring with fucking Gervonta. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Hold on.
We had a guest on the show that said the same fucking thing.
He just said that.
Yep. Well, a great minds think alike, Dan, because I ain't even hear that
I actually posted that in our room earlier. Floyd actually mentioned that shit. Yeah, Floyd actually mentioned that shit in the post. Yeah, he mentioned that Walter shit in the post-fight press conference. Yeah, that shit was great.
Fellas.
Yeah.
Thank you, fellas. That tells you how much I know Floyd is a bullshitter. I didn't even see none of that. That just came to my mind right now. Tells you right there, man. This dude, man. Anyway.
But, I guess we could go ahead and go into the final bout of the night, which was, first big fight of the year and already a possible fight of the year candidate. We had Badou Jack taking on James DeGale and the WBC IBF Super Middleweight Unification belt. I won't say it's controversial, but it did end in a majority draw. Shit, I don't even know who to start out with on this one, man.
Hey, Twine, you start out. I want to hear your shit.
As far as breaking down the fight, or what you guys want me to do, man?
Shit, y'all talked last night.
Break it down.
I mean, one of the things with me is I know Bernard got his little apps and shit he be scoring with. I ain't never been one of those dudes where I'm taking notes and shit like that. I kind of go off a feeling and, what's going on in the fight at the time, momentum swings and shit like that.
Right.
A lot of me and TK got into a little debate about the rounds last night. Well, not really that so much. Not
really.
Possibly it could have been a draw. There's nothing wrong with that decision at all. But it's just like I don't feel like DeGale won the fight. I mean, you look at him and you see, the knockdown happened in the first round. But beyond that, it looked like Badou Jack was smothering and blocking a lot of his shit off of his arms. He did get a cut, but that was something he was complaining about came from a butt or an elbow, and DeGale did elbow him a couple times. If you call, I don't know if any of you guys caught that.
No, I caught. Mm-hmm.
So Badou Jack did complain about that, but DeGale just didn't seem like he was landing much. He was doing a lot of the pity pat shit and missing. Swinging wide, trying to hit Jack, and Jack was landing the pinpoint accurate punches, going to the body, that right, the left. I mean, the straight right was landing all goddamn night, man.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it was I won't say it was a tell of two fights because I think Badou Jack came back early, starting round 3. I could say he started putting some things in the bank. So it just, the overall feel of the fight.
What round you say he started coming back? What round?
Round three. I think Badou Jack started doing, started putting some rounds in the bank. You can the first 2 rounds of James DeGale, you should give those 2 rounds to him. But I think round 3, Badou Jack came back and got one. Round 4 is questionable, but I still think the better work was done by Badou Jack. You got to think James DeGale was taking, spurts off, 30, 45 seconds out. Badou Jack was fighting the majority of the whole round. He was putting out things the whole round, and, James DeGale was fighting in spurts. So I pay attention to shit like that when I'm judging rounds, and, for people to say that DeGale got 6 or 7 rounds, I just can't fucking see it any kind of way.
I disagree with that last statement. I see what you're saying towards the end of the fight, not in the beginning. Badou Jack getting his ass whooped at the beginning of that fight, fam. Round 1, 2, 3, 4 was a swing. 5 I gave to Badou Jack, and 6 I think I either gave to DeGale or that was the point where I think I gave it to Badou Jack because that was the point where shit started to change. And it was exactly.
And that's the thing. There was a lot of swing rounds. So you can't really be wrong in your synopsis of anything. The draw was actually a good decision. You can't even be mad at it. But going off the overall feeling of the fight and what I saw, I just felt like Badou Jack whooped his ass. You know what I'm saying? He whooped his vanilla-looking beat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I know you got some more you want to add it. I know you got more. You're going to do another proper analysis of the fight, proper breakdown. So I'll go ahead and pass it on to you.
Nah, man, yours was fine. I had no problem with yours. And like I said, at the end of the fight in our group chat, I said I had scored the fight a draw. That's exactly how I had it, exactly like the other 2 judges had it. But I also said that I don't mind Badou Jack winning by 1 or 2 points. I had no problem with that. James DeGale winning by 2 points. I think that first judge had him winning by 2 points.
Yeah, 8-4 fight. You know what I'm saying? He had it 8-4. I don't see that as plausible any kind of way.
I don't see DeGale winning by 2 points. If he wins, man, it's literally by a point. And you really can't go any further than that with DeGale. And the reason why I thought that is because Badou Jack finished the fight extremely strong. One thing I disagree with in your assessment is that Badou Jack fought the entire round, and also disagree with Badou Jack doing more work. I thought James DeGale did much more work, but what Badou Jack did that pretty much is implanted in everybody's brains is the fact that whenever he threw a punch, that shit landed with pinpoint accuracy, and it was an actual power punch. While James DeGale is flurrying, teeing off on Badou Jack returns with maybe a 1-2. That was the difference for me. I don't give niggas rounds that land 1 or 2 punches per round. That's why I did not feel that the punch stats were accurate at all. I do agree that James DeGale did not hit him a lot of the times. Badou Jack was clammed up in that shell of a defense. But that was the problem, and that was what I said in my prediction video. The reason why Badou Jack cannot win fights decisively is because he fucking waits and he lets his opponent tee off on him, and it looks good to the judges. That's why he can't win fights decisively. That's why he has 3 draws on his record. Probably 2 of them could have been wins, DeGale and fucking Butte. You see what I'm saying? So when I said on the podcast, and I also said on my show, that this fight will probably end in a draw, I was absolutely correct, and it really stems off of Badou Jack and his lack of volume, fam. You cannot land 1 or 2 punches and then let your fucking opponent tee off on you, and then you land another 1 or 2 punches. You can't do that. He needed to actually return fire in the same manner as James DeGale. Now, he did do that, but it wasn't until later into the fight, yo. And he didn't do that shit till maybe like round 9 on. That's when he was returning fire. That's when, in the start of the round, the nigga was attacking James DeGale. One of those rounds, can't remember which one. Fucking bell rang. This nigga ran right at James DeGale and started
He
attacking.
was doing that the second half of the fight, though. He was actually coming out.
Not the entire second half, fam. No, he was not. He did that in maybe 2. Yeah, he did that in maybe 2 or 3 of these rounds of these last 6 rounds of the fight. He did not do that every single all of the 6 last rounds. That's something that he should have done from round 1, I'm saying. Instead of waiting and fucking letting this nigga tee off on him, whether they landed or not, it still looks good to the judges. Once again, I want to remind everybody, because a lot of people have come to my channel on previous fights and was like, oh, this fight was scored this way because of punch stats. Judges don't have access to punch stats. They don't see that. The punch stats are done for the viewers. Judges don't have access to that. So they're not seeing what the punch stats are saying about James DeGale not landing as much as Badou Jack. They're going off of what they see real fucking time. And real time, they saw James DeGale teeing off on a waiting Badou Jack. That's why this fight was a draw.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and let Big Cool chime in on this one. Your thoughts on the decision? How did you have it going?
I mean, I watched it. I had to rewatch it before I, be certain, because it was some of those rounds are kind of, like you said, swing rounds. And what 2K was saying is true. Jack doesn't throw a lot of punches to where, where you can really convince. Until later in the fight, he did throw a lot. He was digging to the body, landing his right hands and left hooks, and really, making his mark. But it's a whole fight, 12 rounds, and this was like a tale of 2 rounds. Tale of 2 halves. DeGale is a front runner. He did it against, Andre when he got the 2 knockdowns, but he slowed down the second half of the fight. Same with Butte, and I guess at times against Porky Medina. But I mean, it was a great fight. Could have went either way. My gut feeling was that it's a draw. Just going off watching it, because like I said, I think it needs to be a rematch. You won't want to say, well, DeGale.
We gonna get in there. We gonna get into that. That was actually the heated shit that we was getting into. So yeah, but we gonna get more into that, man.
Yeah, but I think, like I said, I think DeGale won the first half, majority of the first half of the rounds, and Jack definitely won the second half. But
yeah,
obviously, Jack was more effective with his punishing blows in the second half, as you can see by the end of the fight. Look at it, he knocked the teeth out, got the face swollen and all kind of shit, and he really looked unscathed. But you got to fight the whole fight, you got to let your hands go, man. And it is crazy though, because he do end up with all these draws, and you got to wonder why he's not letting his hands go enough. And I guess he kind of implemented some of that Mayweather shit with it, trying to throw enough just to secure it, but you're not on that level to do that. And like I said, DeGale is a front runner, man. You let him get a lead on you. And,
that's it.
So he throws those punches, but it's not really effective. But it looks like it's effective, like Oscar did against, I think it was Trinidad, where he just the last 6 seconds of the round, he'll throw a whole bunch of punches and then make it look like it's effective, but it's really not. And that's what probably swayed the judges. So I mean, they definitely need to do a rematch, and it definitely need to be at 168 because if you had.
Well, go ahead. You can finish out your statement.
No.
Go ahead. We got Chris Henderson, on the line. He's in our groups and actually, covers combat sports for ESPN. That has his own platform as well. So he's gonna bring him on the line, and I guess he wants to chime in on about this topic. How you doing tonight, man, Chris?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Pretty good. Thanks for calling in, man.
What's up, Chris?
Not much. What y'all talking about, the Badou Jack fight?
Yeah, let me get your thoughts on that, on the decision of that fight. Are you agreeable?
I scored at 114, 112 for Jack with the knockdown to end in the 12th round.
Can we get some detail on some of your swing rounds that were pivotal in your scoring
I gave
process?
1, 2, and 3 to DeGale. 4 I gave to Jack. It could have went to DeGale, and that could right there gives you the draw. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That right there gives you the draw. I think DeGale stole rounds kind of like Sugar Ray Leonard did at times, them punches and flurries.
Exactly.
Is exactly what I think.
That was going to be my point.
The fight lived up to what I thought it would be. I actually predicted a draw.
Yeah.
But I felt like Jack won the fight. I think he did enough toward the end of the fight to win the fight.
Yeah, I go off of feelings and emotions in fights, man. And, I watched the post-fight presser, man, and DeGale didn't even show up to the goddamn post-fight press conference. A fighter knows when he's lost. Floyd mentioned, when you lost, DeGale was talking a good one in the post-fight, but when you lost, man. I just felt it in his body language, even in his interview post-fight, that he lost, which is why he was talking about taking it to the UK, and he's adamant about the rematch, because he needed to prove something,
I kind of disagree with that. I mean, because this fight was close enough where he shouldn't be embarrassed to not go to the first time. It ain't like it was Paul Williams and Lara, scorecard. Exactly. I mean, so I don't think he has to hang his head on being embarrassed. No. I mean, he got his teeth knocked out. Maybe he, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So
he had to go to the hospital after the fight.
Yeah. They said he had I guess he had a hematoma or something like that.
Yeah, the doctor, when you go to the back, the doctor takes a look at you, and if you got to go to the hospital, there's a good chance you're going to miss the press conference.
Okay, I got you.
Of course.
Chris, do you think a rematch needs to happen here, or are you happy?
Yeah, I would love to see a rematch. I don't think it will, but I'd love to see it.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think it will. Two things I left with from that fight is this. Badou Jack gets in trouble at 175.
Yes,
movement ain't good enough to.
He gets knocked out at 175. That's what I tell these fellas, Chris. He gets knocked out at 175.
And I'll tell you who he actually gives the most trouble to at 175 is Ward, believe it or not, because he will stay in front. He'll let Ward come inside, and they'll fight right there. All right. That's who he'll give the most trouble to. But Kovalev knocks him out. Stevenson knocks him out. Joe Smith may even beat him.
That'd be a good fight. That'd be a good fight.
They're actually aiming for
That'd be a good fight. I don't think Joe Smith knocks him out. That'd be a good fight. I already said that there are three dudes that I see beating them at 175 convincingly. But if you look at the rest of the division, there are some fights that you can look at and say, "Yo, this dude could be competitive at." But the top dudes, no, he's gonna beat them.
I think he could beat it cleverly. I think he could beat it cleverly.
I agree.
He could pick up the title. They're going after Stevenson though. Like that's the fight they want. Apparently, is Adonis Stevenson.
He gets knocked out.
DeGale is kind of tailor-made for that straight right. If you notice, not many southpaws will move to the power like he does. Right. So he damn sure better hope Golovkin don't come up to fight him. I mean, really. Think about it.
I still like that.
Before last night, I thought he would give Golovkin trouble.
I couldn't see the way he struggled against Butte and Medina. Like, I felt like DeGale was overrated just based off of those two fights. And, I just didn't see much in him. I even think he squeaked out his win against Andre Jarrell because he was a front runner. Jarrell came back and, did his thing second half. He was just a little bit too late.
I agree. Yeah, I mean,
I think we're seeing what DeGale is. Like, he is what he is. I see him always fading in fights. Like, I don't see that changing.
He has a tendency to take time off.
Yeah.
He's tough, though. I give him that. He's tough. He's willing to go on the road.
He's tough as hell. I'll give him that.
I mean, he's tough. He's just not what you would think from an Olympic gold medalist. Coming out of the amateur.
Well,
I thought he'd be, that guy.
Well, this is the thing, though. My boy did research. My co-host did research on his amateur record. He wasn't a decorated amateur by any means. My man only had 79 wins and 17 losses. So he wasn't a decorated amateur.
He was an underdog in the round of 32.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yes, sir. So when he went to the Olympics, he wasn't even looked at as a guy that would actually win that shit.
So he's gotten the most out of his talent. Yeah. He's definitely got the most out of it. Absolutely. Man, definitely appreciate that, man. Thank you for coming on, Chris, and you definitely spread some knowledge.
One more thing I learned last night is whoever Pedraza's stepdad, he needs to ask his mom to divorce the guy or something. That's the dumbest shit I have ever seen in my life.
We in agreement. We always saying that. We always saying that.
That's the dumbest shit I have ever seen in my life. I've been in and around this sport for 35 years, and I've never seen nothing that ignorant.
Yes, sir.
I'm not joking.
Oh, man.
All right, man. We appreciate you coming on.
No problem, guys.
Thanks for coming on, man.
No problem.
Thanks,
Chris.
All right, you have a good one.
Hey, but, man, we need to talk about that Jack trying to move up shit, though, for real.
Yeah, we definitely going to get into that right now, man. Me and TK went back about this one last night. Pretty much Bo was in agreement with me because we knew what it was prior to the fight. Badou Jack has been talking about going to 175 since he fought George Groves, essentially. Like, it's been mentioned since then. Even before this fight, they said this would be his last fight at 168.
But
I understand. Go ahead. Me and TJ got into it about because I'm okay with Badou Jack going up without a rematch. 2K thinks he needs to do it before for the business, and I can understand that argument as well.
Yes.
So I'll go ahead and let 2K and Bernard express their pieces, and we're gonna go back and forth, and we just gonna let this thing roll. And see
Hell no. Hell no. Bo, go ahead and support your co-partner and what you believe should happen with Badou Jack. I want to hear this shit.
All right, Bo, go ahead, man.
What I believe should happen with Badou Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as him moving up to 175, we knew what it was already.
But wait, all I said was, since we already knew that this was his last time fighting at 168, if he don't rematch him at 168, I'm not going to hold this shit over his head for it. Now, if you want to fight in the UK, which DeGale want to, and Badou Jack wants to fight at 175, we'll meet in the fucking middle. Fight in the UK, fight at 175. Because it could still be a good fight. Right, it could
but that was another point. That was another point of discontention, though, because no belts on the line kind of takes away from it. So
no, there's not in the UK. If you fight in the UK, it will not take away from the UK. UK fans support their fighters, and it is still a big fight. He's still one of their teams.
One of the things that excited us about the fight was that it was a unification.
I mean,
exactly.
It takes away from the fight.
Yeah. Okay, well, but still, though, my thing is, since I already knew this was his last fight at 168. I'm just saying, I'm not going to hold this over his head if he don't rematch him at 168 because he already said this was it for him. Now, do I want a rematch? Hell, of course I want a rematch. You should give him a rematch. There's a lot of fights I wish I would have got a rematch where it was close. When Whitaker fucking took that goofy loss to Chavez with their lying asses, and when Oscar De La Hoya fucking lying ass against me, I wanted a rematch on that shit. You know, I want Canelo and P. Will to give. I wanted to give Lara a rematch. But what I'm saying is, he knew this was his last fight at 1. Well, no, it was different, but we knew this was his last fight at 168. So I'm not going to hold him to the fire if he don't fight him at 168 because he said it was last fight. But should there be a rematch? Yeah. But since you wanted in the UK, he wanted 175, you got to make a compromise, and that compromise is, okay, fine, I'll fight in the UK, but it's going to be at 175, or maybe even 170 or some shit.
But look, though, when you in a unification bout and you can't leave, and it ends like that, you can sacrifice one more fight to right that role. I mean, for me personally, I couldn't go up to 175 knowing that if I would have did just to let my hands go a little more or did this and that, I would have been a unified champion. I can't just go up there and be like, okay, especially in a division where a lot of people don't see bright, good things happening for him. I don't see why he in a rush to go. I mean, if he really can't make it, then go. You know what I'm saying? But if you can make it and you just being lazy or whatever it is, then stay your ass at 168 because there's nothing but worse problems at 168 at 175 than it is at 168. You got Ward, Kovalev, you got you got Stevenson. Got Bearderby, you got all these guys, you got Smith. I mean, so I just couldn't do that. I just couldn't do that.
I don't know. I posted the post-fight press conference last night, early this morning, actually. Basically, like I said, they're going after Adonis. They want that fight as soon as fucking June. That's pretty much what Badou and TMT is after. That's what they alluded to in the post-fight press conference with the move to 175. They're not going up there to play, and take no warm-ups or nothing. So, I can't be mad on it based on the strength of that.
But they ain't going to fight nobody else, though.
But, like you guys said, man, you had a chance to unify, have 2 belts in one division, man. That's legacy shit right there. So I can feel that whole argument. He might not get it though. He might not get it though at 175. He's not unless he fights it cleverly. That's what it would take. He needs to fight it cleverly.
And that's a bullshit fight. But look, it's a legacy thing. You're right. But do you guys know that a unified champion has not happened at 168 in 17 years? This is literally something where Badou Jack can etch his motherfucking name on a plaque at 168 in the sport of boxing. But instead, this motherfucker wants to move up and take on.
I think it's Floyd more. I think it's more of a Floyd thing more than anything, man.
That's what I said when we were arguing. It is fucking Floyd. I'm not worried about Jack because Jack, as you can tell, the nigga don't talk. He'll say one thing, I did that move at 175, and then after that, Floyd stepped in front of the nigga, was like, shut up, nigga, I'll talk for you. That's exactly what the fuck happened. Okay?
Yeah.
Now that's what I'm saying. That was the basis of my argument. Floyd is on his Floyd Mayweather bullshit, dog. Like,
let me
throw this topic out there.
I'm gonna throw that topic out there.
I said this earlier. I said what I want, motherfucker. Look, I agree with 2K. Now I didn't see that part about it being Floyd. Okay, but let me say this. I'm sick and I'm tired of every fucking TMT event. This motherfucker gotta be the fucking main focus. Stop.
Exactly.
He's fucking retired. He shouldn't be talking. Yep. Why the fuck was you talking to the promoter? Floyd did more talking when it came to Eddie Hearns. They cut him short.
Exactly.
Fuck out of here, man.
Man, you know what's funny? I'm tired. I posted a bunch of shit in our group yesterday. Even Adrian Broner, they did a pre-fight presser for his fight coming up. You know who's doing the talking the whole time? Surprisingly. Well, you know, motherfucker Broner got Broner. Broner got a mouth on him. And Floyd was talking the whole time. Anytime they were asking something about Broner, Floyd would turn it back to how he did it in his career and then would allude back to Broner. So I'm like, I'm kind of getting sick of it. He still wants to be in that spotlight, man. Like, he needs to fight somebody.
He's in control. Fight somebody and shut the fuck up. Chicken whore.
They allow him to do that just because his name Floyd Money Mayweather don't mean.
Yeah, like I'm starting to see it. I don't like it. Like I felt like he had good intentions with Broner, but like you could tell he wants that spotlight still. Even the post-fight press conference, he's the one standing up the whole time. Like,
and that's why he won't succeed in this. I don't think because like him and Tank was at odds. You know what I'm saying? That's a guy that's gonna speak his mind. Same with Broner. He like the yes man. He like the guys like Badou Jack, the mothers that's gonna say yes sir, no sir.
Jay Leon Love.
Yeah, Jay Leon. Don't even start me on Jay Leon.
Jay Leon Love is a secret lover. Jay Leon Love and Nicky Bay, they secret lovers. I believe that shit for real.
Real talk. Real talk.
I'm not touching that one.
Yeah, I ain't gonna disrespect him like that. But as a fighter, I don't think much of Jay Leon Love, and I don't even know he's still anyway. Like Floyd ain't gonna be able to last long in this business, man. If you don't understand that, look, man, your time has come. Your job is to serve the fighter, man. Your job is to serve the fighter. Give them what they want, and you fall your ass back. Because you're going down in history as one of the greatest fighters, made the most money, whatever. So you don't even have to talk no more. People already know that's Floyd.
Yeah. Stop alluding to your career and every fucking interview about another fighter. Stop. Shit's got to stop, man. Like, you don't need to self-promotion.
It's not Floyd. It's mainstream media. They need to stop talking to him. They need to say, okay, Floyd, good, thank you. Broner. They need
but that
to
ain't going to happen, though. That ain't going to happen.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that.
The fighters need to man up and say, Floyd, look, I respect and appreciate you, everything you've done as a fighter and what you're trying to do as a promoter, but this is my time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to talk and promote myself.
Well, Jarrell, Gervonta tried to do that, and Mayweather choked that nigga until he came back to the light. So the fighters ain't gonna do that shit neither. But this is the thing, though.
But you get the gist of what I'm saying. You know what I'm trying to say.
Hold on. This. Yeah, I know. But this is the thing. I made a video on Floyd Mayweather needing a reality check right before this goddamn fight. You know what I'm saying? And it was really stemmed on Andre Ward, him talking about Black Lives Matter, him supporting Donald Trump and other entities.
We gonna get into that. Now, okay, go ahead. Don't touch too much on the Andre Ward thing, though, 2K. Don't go too much on the Andre Ward thing. Okay.
Hell, nigga, stop getting scared, nigga. I'm not touching on that. But what I'm trying to say is, nigga, the damn video came at the right time because this nigga jumps in the ring at the end of this fight and commits the exact fuckery that I'm actually telling y'all niggas this nigga's about in that particular video. He can't fucking let the spotlight be removed off of him, okay? So when he gets in the ring and Jim Gray is trying to interview Badou Jack and this nigga steps in front of him and says, I'm the promoter. I'm not going to let that fight happen. I say what my fighters do. That's because this motherfucker needs the limelight. We will not see the fight. Okay, let me say this. Let me not say we won't see the fights we want to see. We will see fights that are pretty good that TMT is going to put together for sure. But if they end in controversial fashion like this, don't expect a rematch.
No, we won't see the rematch.
It won't happen.
Put it like that.
Yeah, it won't happen.
Yeah, that's basically something that Floyd said that as well in the post-fight press conference. If they get it wrong the first time, they're going to get it wrong the second time. So that was pretty much
No, he's scared that his fighter won't get it done the second time.
Especially in the UK. I think it's a UK thing. Like once he heard the UK, he definitely said, fuck that.
Nope, they ride.
As soon as he heard UK, that ain't riding. He talking about not even fighting on the East Coast no more. Like he don't want to do shit on the East Coast.
Because that's that bullshit. That's that bullshit, right? That's bullshit. They get shit wrong when he fought Canelo Alvarez and what's her name, Ross got the call wrong.
CJ Ross.
CJ Ross. That was in fucking Vegas. That wasn't in fucking New York. So that shit he talking about, that happens all over the world. And so he can miss me with that. But my biggest issue with Floyd, Floyd's biggest problem, dog, is he thinks because his name is on some shit. Well, he thinks because his name is on some shit, he got to be the only motherfucker talking. That's the reason why, and I say this, there are certain fighters that Floyd can never manage. He could never manage Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder ain't having that kind of shit. He could talk to his motherfucking self. Okay? Yeah, I mean, there's certain fighters, Robert Gare's father and Angel Garcia ain't going to have that shit. Shut the fuck up. You don't got to talk for my boy. I do that shit. That's his biggest problem, man, and that's the reason why, as a fighter, okay, and maybe even as an advisor, he's good because he can definitely help you money-wise and all that. Everything else, when it's about Floyd, it always got to be about him. And as long as the media is sticking a mic in front of him, this motherfucker ain't gonna try to take himself out the way, man.
And that's exactly why he be getting these average ass fighters like motherfucking Ashley Theopane, Mickey Bay, because they don't say shit. But at the same time, we know if you make the right matchups, like for instance, Badou Jack and Nathan Cleverly at 175, you could still get those average ass fighters an opportunity to be a title holder if you do that. That's why he has these motherfuckers in his stable, fam. Gervonta Davis, I don't think he'll stay in there eventually. Eventually, that nigga's
he gonna pull a Floyd on Floyd.
Yeah,
he gonna
exactly. He gonna be gone, man. Mark my words. He gonna be gone.
I agree. He be talking about how he don't want to be like Bob and Oscar De La Hoya, but you doing the exact type of shit they doing. I mean, just like, man.
Very true.
That motherfucker.
Man, great topic, fellas. But we have got to move on. We have got to. All right. We got another hot topic. We just mentioned the light heavyweight division, man. So we got Adonis Stevenson looking to take on the WBC silver belt holder and Joe Smith Jr. in New York in April. It's looking like they're in their past preliminary talks. Like this thing is probably close to happening. I don't know how, considering Alvarez is actually the limit. He's fighting mandatory right now, but he's fighting Müvment, so I guess that kind of gives Adonis some time. And he still has to fight the winner out of that fight. But then I just mentioned the whole Badou Jack thing. So like I said, it's a whole bunch of shit going right now with 175. If Badou moves up, even with this fight, what do you guys think of the potential of this fight happening? Smith, he's kind of been an overnight sensation. You know what I'm saying? So I like to say he's cashing in. Yeah, I like the dude too. Like you can't ever be mad at a guy that comes from that kind of background, fucking still working construction and shit every day, and busting his ass and coming out fighting, for titles.
Top dudes, Hall of Famers and shit. Or I think he's a live dog in this fight, man. I mean, Stevenson been knocked out once, he can be knocked out again. And Joe Smith.
That's the thing. Joe Smith is there to be hit too, and I said, TK probably gonna laugh at me for this, but I was happy with Adonis' inside game against Thomas Williams. Like that's something that ain't something I've never seen him display. That's why I said, I didn't think he had it in him. That's something I didn't think he had in him. Period.
You got a lot
I didn't think it was in his arsenal.
You got a lot of skills when you're facing these guys way below your your level.
Exactly. Nigga, Twine, I would look real good against a 5th grader, nigga. You'll be like, man, look at that nigga inside game. That nigga
I'm just saying, we never seen that ain't something we never seen from him before. So I was impressed that he had that in the repertoire. Period. You know, I ultimately see that. I ultimately see the fight with Joe Smith being like that. You know, it's going to be a banger. You know, it's going to be on the inside.
I think Joe Smith is a little more disciplined.
I also see Smith getting slept by that left too. Still, you know.
I agree.
But
I agree.
But,
because
so go ahead, 2K. I'll let you go ahead and get in on this, man.
Joe Smith Jr. is not a man. Okay, I know Bernard ain't gonna like this, but Joe Smith Jr. is still not an elite fighter, and he's not even a B-level fighter in my opinion.
Hey, hold on.
I think.
Okay, I didn't say he was an elite fighter. Okay. I think he has a lot of flaws, fam. That elite fighters that are in there, not necessarily elite, but I could say other B-level fighters that are actually fighting the correct fight, they will beat Joe Smith Jr. with no problems. Andre Fonfara, he just got caught. Okay, that happens in boxing. He got caught. He underestimated his opponent and got caught. Bernard Hopkins, the nigga was 175 years old. You know what I'm saying? The nigga could no longer move. So the motherfucker should have wheeled his way into the ring in a motherfucking hover round, dog, as bad as his legs are. So, I mean, but if you put Joe Smith Jr. in the ring with a B-level fighter that is actually in his prime, he will lose to that guy. I have Joe Smith Jr. losing to Beterbiev. I have him losing to fucking Kovalev. I have him losing to Adonis Stevenson. I definitely have him losing to Andre Ward. I think guys that aren't really high-level fighters at 175, like Gavadzic, that Russian guy that just beat Isaac Chilemba, he will give Joe Smith Jr. trouble.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So if he gets in there, right? So if he gets in there with a Adonis Stevenson, who's been, I hate to say this, but I gotta give credit where it's due. He's been at a top level for a while now since he knocked out
top level holding that damn title.
I know. He's hoarding the fuck out that title, but the nigga's confidence level is through the roof right now. So when he's gonna get in, he's getting in the ring with a guy with the confidence level that high, that through the roof. He's still the WBC champion and been the WBC champion, I think, for like 3 years now, something like that, 4 years. Joe Smith Jr. loses that guy. And I agree with Twan. He will get slept by that left hand. Absolutely.
Right. Let me pass it on to the other fellas and see if they got something they want to chime in as far as this fight happening. The Chicago boys, I'm going to pass it to y'all, man.
First I heard he was going to...
Hey, hold on, Bo. Fuck that. I'm going with Joe Smith, my nigga. Fuck that. Fuck that. I'm riding with Joe Smith to the end. I was thinking to myself, I'm going to say this. This is the only reason why I'm riding with Joe Smith. I want him to knock that babysitting ass belt holder out. I'm tired of that motherfucker holding that belt. So basically, we got somebody. He's a live dog. If he gets that belt, I believe.
I'm gonna tell y'all something about Adonis.
I picked Joe Smith to win that fight, even though it seems crazy.
I'm going with Joe Smith. I believe this: if Joseph wins that fight, he's going to have the nuts to go against Kovalev, even though I don't think he should. But I want that fight. I want.
If he knocks out Adonis Stevenson, that nigga's ready for a Kovalev. I think he loses, but he's ready. He's earned his spot.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I agree. No, I'm agreeing with you on that one. I said, I believe he'll have the nuts to finally. He'll be the one to fight Kovalev holding that WBC belt.
Don't fucking fight Kovalev. Go after fucking Ward. You know what I'm saying? Nigga ain't got no damn belt now. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, he get murdered by Ward, man. Stop.
Yeah.
We don't need that to happen.
2K like take that quick ass whooping instead of that long drawn out one.
Exactly. Go ahead.
I mean, you gotta. What happened to the business though? What happened to the business? Ward.
That nigga Kovalev killed somebody before, man.
Where's in the business with the way he's gonna be?
It's all about style matchups, man. Andre Ward beats this nigga 12 rounds to 0. I don't want to see that. But Kovalev, he might get caught a couple times. That's a more interesting matchup. That's why I say Kovalev.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this time to let Adonis get some shine, man, because I'm gonna tell y'all something about Adonis, man. He's been holding that belt.
Yeah, you can tell us something about Lamar McCaster. You know he's a WBC champion.
I got. What was that again, man? I don't even remember. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Nicholas Walters, yo. I'm a Nicholas Walters, your ass for about 5-10 minutes, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Time out. With that said, you know, Adonis I think he's been hoarding that belt for a war fight at 175. He didn't want no parts of Kovalev. I'll be honest about that. But I don't think he has any fear of Ward's power. That's why I think he's a little bit more excited to take that fight as opposed to a Kovalev. So just keep that on the mind. Just keep that on the mind, fellas. Like this is something like Adonis has no fear of Ward because of the power thing. I think with Kovalev, he kind of knew. He was going.
Well, I think Ward would have preferred to face Stevenson than Kovalev. You know, for reasons that
I don't know. Adonis might be
not that he feared Sergey, obviously, because they fought or whatever. Just because he's more vulnerable. I don't know. He's more vulnerable, I believe. Well, even though he's athletic and explosive.
Twine has made some progress because I remember arguing with this motherfucker for a long ass drawn out Facebook post about how Adonis Stevenson does not want any parts of Sergey Kovalev. And he was at the position that, no, Adonis does want Kovalev. Kovalev don't want Adonis. But he just said right now that he admitted that Stevenson was afraid of Sergey Kovalev. I just want that on the record, fellas. Go ahead, Jarrell.
No, but I just think that...
Where's my mute button?
I think Ward would be more dominant against... Well, he wasn't dominant. But I think
Bo, you ready to come out and play now? You ready to come outside? You done acting up? You ready to come out and behave? You ready to behave, Bo?
Are you done?
Are you ready to behave? Are you ready to behave, Bo?
Are you done? Are you like 5-year-old and want to take his ball because you got red with? Is that the shit you on tonight?
Hey, 2017 is the year of petty. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into this next topic because this one is especially for you, Cuba Loca. Luis Ortiz versus Jarrell Miller, man. That's I like that fight. Not necessarily for Miller, but it's intriguing, especially for
my name. I don't like that for him. He shared my name. Gonna make me look bad.
You already look bad.
Let me go ahead and pass it on the phone, man.
Y'all look like you on trial.
Shut your mumbling ass up.
What?
You see what we got to deal with. You see what we got to deal with all these personalities, man. All these personalities.
Well, let the unbiased and fair-speaking person speak.
The elderly, Bo. Go ahead, take it.
No, I'm waiting for y'all to find unbiased for a motherfucker to talk. Look, okay, it's a fight to keep him busy. I don't like the fight because what Eddie Hearns is trying to do, he's trying to steer. Because remember, the WBA named the winner of Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko to face Luis Ortiz. And what Eddie Hearns wants to do, he's trying to steer him away from that. That's why he's giving him this fight to keep him busy. But he's also hoping he can drop in one of the rankings of one of the other sanctioned bodies because he don't want to make that fight. If Joshua wins, he don't want to risk a big money fight between Joshua and Deontay Wilder because of some WBA mandatory. And he don't want to have Joshua drop a belt to Luis Ortiz because that's going to really look fucked up. So, I mean, although, it's a good fight because, Big Baby Miller's a live body, but this is Eddie Hearns just trying to steer Luis Ortiz away from his prize guy. That's my opinion. And it's just another way to keep a guy that should be fighting for the fucking WBA belt. It's just another way to keep him from being where he really should be, which is holding the fucking title. Luis Ortiz is the best heavyweight right now that's not holding the fucking title because motherfuckers are doing all they can to stay away from this dude.
Absolutely.
So although I like the fight, but although I like the fight, and, you know, Big Baby Miller, you know, he been campaigning and everything to get Deontay Wilder. So although I like the fight, but come on, man. Let's call this what it is. Eddie Hearn is shuffling the fucking deck. That's what he's doing.
That motherfucker Ortiz ain't gonna ever get a title shot again.
Bo, I disagree with you.
You're a fucking casual.
No.
Yeah, that is a casual statement. He's gonna say I disagree and I have nothing to back the shit up.
I do have
that's a casual.
Shit. Now, you say Eddie Hearn is protecting Anthony Joshua. Here's the problem with that. If Luis Ortiz is fighting for that WBA interim belt, right? It could be a matter of time for them to end up running into each other. Just in case Joshua does beat Klitschko. So if that happens, he got a big fight on his hand right there in the UK. So I don't see
it's a bigger fight. It's a bigger fight for AJ to fight Wilder than it is for AJ to fight Luis Ortiz now.
Now, yes. But building that fight up.
Here we go with that build-up shit again.
Shut up.
I'll be your own build-up.
Yeah.
All right, but definitely Ortiz is getting raped with no Vaseline right now by the WBA if they let this shit ride with AJ and Klitschko.
Hell yeah.
I definitely feel like he's the one that needs to be fighting for the title. You know, if anybody needs to be getting the chance, it's him, Anthony Joshua to get a chance at a sanctioning body that he wasn't even ranked in. You know, even your boy Ingram was in on this one. You know, he had some issues with this as well. So, you know, it's a whole lot of fuckery happening with Ortiz. I like the fight personally just because, you know, Jarrell Miller is going to come to bring it, you know, for however long it lasts. I don't think he's going to last too long considering, you know, Ortiz is a pretty good dude. Like I said, I like him. He's probably one of my top 3 heavyweights, if not the best, even though he's not holding the title. Like, you know, these guys are avoiding him for a reason. You know, they don't want to fight him for a reason.
Who's the top 3, Twan?
At heavyweight? Shit, fucking Wilder, Joshua, and Ortiz. You know, kind of simple to me. You know, it's not in that direct order, but that's pretty much the way I see it.
Hey, Twan, look at it like this. Luis Ortiz is ranked in the WBA, and he's ranked in the WBC, right?
Yeah.
He's in the top 10 in the IBF. He's not ranked at all in the WBO. Big Baby Miller is ranked number 3 in the WBO. If you fight Miller, where does that put you?
High ranked in the WBO, or at least, I would say, and it puts you down in the other organization and body.
And who holds that WBA belt? Joseph Parker, who's managed by Bob Arum. Look, I'm telling you, man.
Joseph Parker ain't gonna have the title long anyway, so it don't even matter.
That's true. So let's go on to this next topic, and we've been kind of harsh on
2K is training and they gonna whoop his ass. You said what, bro? I said Joseph Parker gonna fight one of them 16-year-olds 2K training and they gonna whoop his ass.
Oh, hell yeah.
Let's get into this next topic, fellas, man. You know, we had Floyd Mayweather in his little media rants this week in the build-up to, you know, the fight they were promoting this past weekend. You know, he had some harsh criticism of Andre Ward and Virgil Hill, as far as, you know, Andre Ward lost. Oh my gosh, my bad, man. I'm just going off of my notes. I typed it wrong. So my bad, y'all. Anyway, y'all knew what I was talking about, but he had some harsh criticisms towards both. Basically, I'll go into elaborating what I think it was about later on, but he basically went on a rant saying that he thought Ward lost and he didn't think that much of Virgil Hunter. He kind of tried to clean that shit up last night in the press conference by saying Virgil Hunter wasn't the trainer for him, you know, but, you know, he did still point out saying that what has Hunter, done outside of Andre Ward, you know, with guys like Amir Khan, Berto, Angulo, and whatnot. So he was still taking cheap shots. Let me get you guys' thoughts on this, man. What is this stemming from? This I won't say it's back and forth because Andre Ward hasn't necessarily even given it any attention. You know, he hasn't gone in, you know. So what do you guys make of all of this?
I don't know, the way Floyd talking is like goddamn Andre refused to sign with the money team or fuck one of his brothers. I don't know, man. Floyd just a hater. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if
this. I can tell you what it was, man. It stems from a few things. It stems from the Ward interview with Fight Hype. That's why he's attacking Ward. He said he has made a statement to the media that Ward should not fight Kovalev because he feels the fix is in. All Ward said is, you could have got in contact with me and told me that personally instead of taking it to the media.
Yeah, but this is in the aftermath of that, Bernard, though. Like, why is he going on this now post-fight? You know, there's no fix in. The motherfucker won the fight. So now you're mad that he got the decision. He thought the fix was in.
No, he ain't mad that he got the decision, dog. He was giving the interview to ESPN. See, first off, motherfuckers got to realize when you ask the question, you answer it. You don't like the answer, okay? It is what the fuck it is, okay? He was asked about the motherfucker being number one pound for pound. He said, no, I don't think Andre Ward won that fight. And there's a lot of motherfuckers that feel like Andre Ward won that fight. And then as far as his comment about Virgil Hunter, he feels there are a lot of fighters that feel this way. If you have never fought, you're not the type of trainer that I want training me. And there's a lot of fighters that feel like that. See, again, if you ask the fucking question, you answer it. You don't like it. Now, does Floyd go over? Of course he goes over.
Yeah,
that's that motherfucker's opinion. And Floyd's always been controversial with his
Hey,
mouth.
hold on.
Remember the old Manny, fetch me some rice comment? Come on.
I mean, but it's a way to answer stuff. I mean, it's a way to answer stuff without throwing somebody under the bus. I mean, yeah, he could have just stopped at it. You know, I don't think he's a trainer for me, whatever, but he's a very good trainer for Ward or whoever else. Simple as that.
He said he's a good trainer, absolutely. But is he a trainer for me? No.
Mayweather is a fucking walking contradiction.
Yeah,
John pulled it up. No, he pulled it up where he actually found Mayweather Senator saying that Virgil Hunter is a good trainer. So for whatever reason, yes, I pulled the video up. Mayweather said it. For some reason, I really believe this stems from a couple of things. Virgil Hunter told Berto to tell Mayweather something about having why he didn't stop to have a cup of coffee because that was over. We know that fight was pretty much over a bitch. The Ward situation, because Ward brought it to Fight Hype, because Mayweather brought it to the media about the situation about the fixing. Ward took it back and responded to the media. So you bring it back because on ESPN, the biggest platform, and make those statements like that, and they go and look what's happening. Everybody's talking about the shit. They fucking asked him how he felt about Hunter being in Jacob's camp. If you ask him a fucking question, he's going to answer. You don't like the answer, it is what the fuck it is. But
I'm going to tell you what I think it's about, man.
Boy, have to lose his gender. Fuck up.
I'm going to tell you what I think it's about, man.
You answer it, but damn, like, I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You answer it, but you ain't got to come at it. It's ways to do things and ways not to.
There's ways to answer. Wait a minute. I'm not saying there's not ways to answer a question. I understand that. But what I'm saying is we've always known Floyd has been flipped at the fucking mouth. That's not surprising. I don't know why motherfuckers acting all shocked. He's always been flipped at his fucking mouth. But if you ask him a question, he's going to answer it.
I agree with Bo and Bernard. I agree with the fact that what Bo is saying, he's gonna answer the fucking question. And basically, whatever comes out of his mouth, we shouldn't be shocked if it's hypocritical or not. Yes, he's being a hypocrite because he has openly praised Virgil Hunter as one of the best trainers in the game. Go on Dante's Boxing Nation, and the video was up. He's ringside, and he's talking to ringside announcers, and he's telling him Virgil Hunter is one of the greatest trainers in the game right now. Then he turns around and says, well, he's trash. I mean, that's going from fucking one side of the spectrum to the next. And there's an agenda behind that. While I do agree with what Bernard is saying, the reasons why, I think it really stems from two things. One, as I said earlier, Srisaket Stevenson, that's one.
He took my damn you.
And then Good shit. Yeah, word up. Srisaket Stevenson is one. And then also Andre Ward being able to surpass him is another. Think about it, guys. Andre Ward is undefeated. Andre Ward is undefeated, correct?
And
he's been undefeated. He's
yes.
Right. I'm getting to that. He's been undefeated since he was 12 years old, and he's an Olympic gold medalist, as Big Cole just mentioned. Okay. Think about it, fellas. He moved up to 168. Or I'm sorry, 175. Let's say he fights and beats Adonis Stevenson. He ends up unifying, becoming the undisputed champion at 175. Right. Let's say he actually after that attains his goal of going to heavyweight and fucks around and beats a heavyweight, becomes a heavyweight champion. He will then surpass Floyd Mayweather possibly as one of the best fighters of this era if he does that. Floyd Mayweather sees that. He doesn't want that to happen, okay? I already made the analogy in my video about Floyd Mayweather needing a fucking reality check with Michael Jordan and how he was throwing a lot of shade on fucking LeBron James, how he didn't want him to surpass the legacy of Michael Jordan, okay? It's the same scenario here. That is why he's doing what the fuck he's doing. That's why you're going to see him hating on Andre Ward a lot.
But you know, it's funny because if you listen to Floyd, he say he wants fighters to surpass him. He wants fighters to be better.
I know.
No, he does. He does everything to prove that wrong. You know.
He does understand that, but also keep something in mind too, fellas. When Andre Ward was active, there was always an argument of who was best between Ward and Floyd. They was always being compared to each other. And now that Floyd ain't there and Ward is still there, that shit is bothering him.
Yep. Yeah, shit. If he wanna, you know, he can easily fight again. I mean, he can do that if it bothers him so much. I mean, he can continue to fight and increase his legacy. But I mean, Floyd just, you know.
And Floyd should fight Triple G there, huh?
But I still think if Ward do what 2K just did, it don't matter if Floyd beat Triple G. I mean, because Ward coming from 168 all the way to heavyweight potentially, which I doubt it. You know, unifying the light heavyweight division. I mean, that's still gonna be, you know, it's gonna top whatever you know, Floyd did in the ring. Now, money wise, Floyd can always get a hat on. I made $800 million. So, but that don't mean shit. I mean, it means shit, but to people like us, we don't care about the next man's pocket. So we going off base and all of that shit. So that's what it's going.
That ain't got no weight. That ain't got shit.
And if I'm right, let me know if I'm right or not on this 2K. Floyd never was a unified champion in any division. Correct? Am I correct?
No, he was not. He was not.
No, he was never a unified champion.
Okay.
He was never a unified champion. He held like maybe 2 titles in the division, but he was never like the full unified champion. No,
no, he wasn't.
So, like I said, I definitely agree with 2K's premise, even though he took my shit about Srisaket Stevenson. But I definitely feel that, man. We're going to go into our next topic.
If that's one of the reasons, I didn't watch the reality take me, I'm going to watch it, but if that's one of the reasons, Floyd needs to get over that shit because who didn't see that coming? If you thought just because you Floyd Mayweather he was going to sign with you, you do need to be because to be real, that's always how he talked about Ward.
So, to be real, I didn't see it coming. I thought Shakira was going to sign with UFC, fam.
But Shakur Stevenson said Ward is his favorite fighter.
Yeah, that's why I'm not surprised. Ward is his favorite dude.
But we didn't know Andre Ward even had a fucking promotional company until he signed with Ward.
I was just going to say that.
What?
Right.
Floyd making it happen though.
What Floyd couldn't deal with, he'd have been okay if he'd have lost the fighter to Aram or Golden Boy. They've been around longer. He can't deal with it being Ward that he lost it to.
Ward and Jay Prince most of all. I think it's more Jay Prince than it is Ward. That motherfucker had Floyd shit.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
He did.
We're going to go ahead and we got to get into this other topic. We got to get into these other topics, fellas. So, you know what I'm saying? Me and 2K actually was discussing this a tad bit. We didn't get too much into detail, but, you know, Danny Jacobs, it was announced this weekend that Chris Algieri would be his nutritionist heading into this Triple G fight. Who the hell was that? With that said, man. What do you guys think my initial thoughts to TK were is that I think Danny Jacobs is trying to come in on the slim side if he's going this route with a nutritionist and all that. And I didn't necessarily agree with the tactic. I'll go ahead and let TK touch on this one first because I am just the moderator at the end of the day. So go ahead and say everything, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with it either. I don't agree with them agreeing with a what am I trying to say? A fucking rematch clause. There's a lot of things I don't agree with. There's a lot of things that are pointing to Danny Jacobs getting stopped before 4 rounds, as I originally predicted. Him coming in on the heavier side will tell us that he has the right game plan of trying to bring the fight to Gennady Golovkin. Him coming in on the slimmer side could possibly show him not being able to make weight, possibly. So he's trying to be slim now in his training camp, so that when the weigh-in comes, he will be able to make weight properly. That's a possibility. I'm not sure if that's it, but that's a possibility. Also, it shows that he's not going to be physically strong against a guy like Golovkin who actually overpowers his opponent. The problem with his fighters, the opponents of Golovkin, is they tend to move back. When you move back against Golovkin, who enjoys mid-range distance, you are putting yourself in prime range to get knocked the fuck out. In this fight, I do not need Danny Jacobs backing up at all. I need him coming forward and getting on the inside.
I need him body-to-body, telephone. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. 100% agreed. He needs to be on the inside of Golovkin punches and go to the fucking body and possibly get that uppercut in there while you're on the inside. That's what I need. Him being on the slim side, I'm afraid that he's not going to be strong enough to be able to do that against Gennady Golovkin.
When I initially heard Algieri being this nutritionist, I immediately thought Dimitri Pirog all over again. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
This motherfucker's going to be trying to box and use the ring, the shit that you don't do against Triple G. I'm going to go ahead and send it over to one of the other cats and let them touch on it. What are your thoughts as far as this being implemented in his training camp, having Algieri in? 2K mentioned something interesting right there, that he may have trouble making 160, so he's trying to tackle that problem early as opposed to later in the cut. So I'll go ahead and let you guys take it from there. Big Cool, you got any thoughts on that one?
I mean, whatever works for him, I guess. He trying to put out all the stuff. He got Algieri as his nutritionist. He got Hunter in there. I mean, whatever he got to do to make it a competitive fight, I'm all for it, you know. So if he feel that he going to have to, you know, start cutting now and to make sure he makes weight, good, because we don't want to hear no excuses. Once he get that ass knocked out, because that's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. I'm hoping it don't, though. I like Jacobs. I hope he wins. But
I hope he goes in with that game plan like 2K said. You know, I'm going to the fight just based on that notion. And I'm like, shit, I probably wasted some money now. You know, I could have went to fucking Thurman DSG.
You probably should have went to Thurman Garcia thinking about it. But, I mean, like I said, he got the athletic and explosiveness on the side. He could punch. But, I mean, I don't know, man. He just has the same fighter since, you know, coming back from cancer or whatever it may be. Not to use that as an excuse, but whatever works for him to make it a competitive fight for however long it'll happen. I'm all for it.
I'm going to go ahead and pass this one to Bernard, and we're going to close out this topic because we got something pretty big we're going to get into after this one. Bernard, your initial thoughts on bringing everybody in the camp. Like, I think he's trying to put himself in the best position. I was okay with Hunter bringing in Virgil Hunter in as an analyst, you know, but I wasn't quite too sure about Chris Algieri.
I think with Chris Algieri being around the sport of boxing, plus having a degree in being a nutritionist, I think it's good for him. It's a good way to surround yourself with a different team, but to come into the fight with Triple G with a positive mindset. So like a different, he said that he needed a different, scenery, different everything. You know, the fight is going to be right back in New York, but I think it would be beneficial to Daniel Jacobs. The reason why I said that, because I noticed that everybody was saying, not to digress off the part, but Algieri was supposed to fight Berto. But when I heard from Virgil Hunter saying that Algieri was going to be a nutritionist, and I saw a video on Berto's Snapchat where Algieri, Jacobs, and them were all sitting together talking and actually pretty much breaking bread. So I think it's going to be a good lookout for Jacobs.
Okay. We'll have to wait and see on this one, man. Fight coming up. You know, they getting into the big swing of their training camps. The press shit is done. You know, I'm hoping for a shocker, though. You know, that's just my take on it, man. I think hopefully they were looking at that. Well, not even the Kell Brook fight, because we've seen holes in Golovkin prior to that. You know, but hopefully they really paid attention to that and things they can implement in their strategy. I personally think Jacobs needs to come in on the heavy side and use that body against them. You know what I'm saying? But with that said, let's go into another topic, man. Pretty hot one, too. We had the whole Golden Boy PBC email article that was placed on Blood Yellow earlier in the week, talking about financials coming from Golden Boy and the PBC pertaining to their lawsuit. Our boy Bo, you know, he's been doing this digging and research on this one, so I'm gonna let him do the little background on this. As you know, Golden Boy is suing Al Heyman, you know, based on I guess similar actions that Bob Arum did, even though they settled out of court recently. But there was more financials put out there that we already touched on somewhat, but Bo's just gonna break it down again and everything else going on, because there's some pretty deep shit in this article, man, as far as Golden Boy's, you know, intake revenue the past couple of years, too, and it'd be quite surprising. So, Bo, go ahead and touch on this, dog.
Well, the one thing I want everybody to keep in mind is that this is what Golden Boy was trying to keep out of the paper. Now, I'm going to touch on the financial stuff because I know 2K can cover the other stuff, which is the really hot shit about the comments about Al Heyman. But let's just look at, because when you really break it down and look at it, listen, this is the issue. People be talking about PBC bleeding money and all of this. Look, Golden Boy is not doing so well themselves either. Now, when you start looking at it, you start breaking it down now. Al Heyman tried to purchase Golden Boy back in 2013 for $100 million. Now, that purchase never went through. They never did anything at all, period. It never went down. But there's a lot of interesting things in this fight. Now, Al Heyman, of course, we all know he signed contracts with CBS, ESPN, Fox, and NBC. Okay, he pays a total of $38 million in total to all of them for airtime. Hey, that's what that was a yearly thing, was $38 million. Okay. Now, the reason why that's important is there's an amendment in there that says, in order for Al Heyman fights to be promoted, he has to have a duly licensed promoter. So for all you motherfuckers out there that try to talk that he's a promoter and all that, no, he's not. It's documented that they will not do any of his fights if he don't have a duly licensed promoter. Meaning that even if Al Heyman calls the shots behind the scenes, but on paper, guess what? That's what's going to count in the court of law, is what's on paper. He's not a duly promoted promoter. Also, 2014, Evan paid Golden Boy $10.5 million as part of a Richard Schaefer lawsuit. You know what that lawsuit also included? It also included Golden Boy losing Danny Garcia, Thurman, Madonna, Peterson, Broner, Quillen, Lara, Jacobs, Martinez, Berto, Ortiz, Alexander Porter, Gretel, and Wilder. And then they paid an extra $3 million for 4 more dudes that Golden Boy lost after that. So they lost their entire stock of fighters. Okay? Now, in 2014, right, Golden Boy had an income of roughly $8.8 million. 2014, Golden Boy made in the revenue of $140 million. In fighter expenses, they paid $90 million. In other expenses, they paid $42 million. They only made $8 million. That's before PBC happened. When PBC took place, Golden Boy in 2015 only made $46 million. They paid fighter expense $28 million. Other expense $12, so they only brought in $4 million. And in 2016, half a year, they only brought in $32 million in a half a year, paid $18 million, and other expense $11 million. So when PBC went into exception in 2015 and 2016, Golden Boy has been fucking up with money as far as paying fighter expenses. And the number one fighter that they've been paying at the highest in since PBC and they lost this was Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez brought in $4 million in 2015. The closest motherfucker for that was Luis Ortiz at $300K. 2016, Canelo brought in $3 million. The closest motherfucker to that was Khan at $450K. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is you have a guy, Roman Gonzalez, that probably is looking at this shit saying, why the fuck am I not getting no money? And I know I'm fucking this good. Okay? That's why I didn't want to go into that. Out of 155 fighters Golden Boy got, 13 fighters only bring in an 8.5% positive income. 13 out of 155 is only bringing in an 8.5% positive fucking income. That is fucking horrible. So Golden Boy is not doing something right with their money because you went from $140 million, and I get it. I know people will say, well, they lost a lot of fighters, but here's the thing. You still bringing in $46 million, but your expenses is half of what you're bringing in, and you have less than fucking headcount. How is your lower tier fighters is bringing in 8.5% of positive income? That means there's only one motherfucking fighter that's bringing in 90% of your income that's also getting damn near 90% of you paying him out. That's shit. And then the other expense is $12 million and $11 million. If you bring in 42, you're paying out 28, and your expenses is 12. Your overhead is Golden Boy's overhead is too high for what's going on. That shouldn't be like that, since they don't have the star power fighters that they have. Okay. Now, as far as motherfuckers making that comment, and I'm gonna pass it over. As far as motherfuckers making that comment about ruining the careers of Leo Santa Cruz and Abner, I took the liberty of running down Leo Santa Cruz's career. In 2015, when Leo Santa Cruz fought on the PBC, he fought 5 fights that equal up to a total of career wins and losses of the guys he fought was 158-15. The entire time he was with Golden Boy, it was 456 to 124. And the big names that he fought on the PBC was Abner and Carl Frampton. There was no big names he fought on the Golden Boy because they didn't want to put him in the ring with a motherfucker named Guillermo Regundia. They ran from that. And when it comes down to Abner Martinez, when he took that loss against Gonzalez, they pretty much kicked him to the motherfucking curb. So when you want to talk about ruining somebody's goddamn career, Leo Santa Cruz and Abner Martinez has never been more popular than they are right motherfucking now. Than with you over at Golden Boy. So if you look at it all, the reason why they want to have this lawsuit is because Golden Boy didn't take the $100 million buyout. They're not bringing in enough motherfucking money, but their overhead is too high. They got to lower their overhead because, again, you have 13 out of 155 fighters that only make up for 8.5% of positive income. That is some bullshit that any Fortune 500 company wouldn't fucking touch.
I think I know why Oscar is resorting back to that YOLO. The company's definitely hemorrhaging, man, and basically the way you broke it down, they shrunk by 50%, practically 50% for the last 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Year to year.
I left one thing out. The part of the agreement with Al Heyman, because people don't know, because of course ESPN don't report it, they won a portion of the antitrust lawsuit. Okay, and the reason why I brought it about the licensing thing about promoter was they're trying to say violate the Ali Act. Well, now we know that's clearly not it. But what they did with Top Rank was Al Heyman had exclusive contracts with the network. He had to reject the exclusive contract with the networks in order to make the settlement with Top Rank. So that's why Top Rank is looking to make a move because, remember, Bob Abrams has said back in 2015 he wasn't happy with the new direction that HBO was going in and was looking to do other things.
Okay. It's definitely an interesting article, man. And
Can I piggyback? I want to piggyback on that, on what Bo just said, too. So
all right, go ahead, Bernard.
He didn't have no. He had those exclusive contracts with CBS, Fox, NBC, but Heyman never saw exclusive contracts for HBO, Showtime, or pay-per-view. Just to give y'all a heads up, and I'm gonna piggyback on that other last statement as well. I'm gonna read it. May 2016, Heyman ended his exclusive provisions with their television agreements. Deep said it was part of the 2016 settlement from the July 2015 antitrust lawsuit from Top Rank. Golden Boy Promotions lawsuit is a carbon copy of Top Rank's lawsuit.
So I'm trying. So what does this mean? So what does this mean actually? Like, break that down as far as what it means. The exclusive rights, as far as them being, are they still going to be able to do their cable or their premium channel stuff, or is that?
Oh yeah. If you notice, they're able to do their fights on Showtime because they never.
Not Showtime. I'm talking about the CBS and the NBC. That's what I was thinking. Is that going to deter away from that? You know, having fights on NBC.
In the article, and both agree with me. I believe they terminated their agreement with NBC, but they kept it with CBS.
And that's just because of Showtime.
Right, because Showtime is a sister channel. So when you're talking about being cheaper, it's cheaper because Showtime will fit the bill for your fights over at CBS as far as paying announcers and everything.
Wow,
and
that's pretty deep right
there.
They
can cross-promote each other.
Essentially, do you guys think Bob Arum is making the move to go at NBC now? Is that what I'm hearing? Bob is making the move to do something on NBC with this now? Since
I think he's keeping every possibility open because he knows his day. What's going on at HBO? He knows the shit is numbered. 2K said something earlier, a while back, when we was talking about who Shakur should go with. 2K hit it on the nail. Golden Boy and Top Rank don't have the horses in the fucking stable. Nope.
Hold on, Bo. Hold on. You didn't say something in your in the breakdown, but did you notice when Floyd was under Golden Boy?
Mm-hmm.
Golden Boy earned at least $1 million income off of Canelo more than Floyd.
More than Floyd, yeah, they did.
More than Floyd. You mean to tell me they made at least $1 million income with using Canelo more than Floyd? That's a real shocking. And to say this, the numbers reveal basically Canelo's value to Golden Boy's promotions bottom line. Financially speaking, Canelo is Golden Boy.
Yep.
That's why I was saying the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight is a cash money fight for Golden Boy to get the money in. And
they're gonna do it in 2K's backyard to get all that 50,000-60,000 essays up in there to do whatever.
Cholo.
And 2K gonna use that free electricity after 8 o'clock to watch that motherfucker. You don't want
to gotta love motherfucking Texas.
Oh man.
I mean, I guess we're going to round it out, man. We going into our conclusion. You know, we're going to do this week's UOPNO segment. Pretty dope one, you know. On this day in 1984, Ray Boom Boom Mancini knocks out Bobby Schoolboy Chacon in Reno, Nevada to retain his WBA lightweight title. As you guys know, last year, Bobby Chacon passed away, so rest in peace to the god. And, big Ray Boo Boom Mancini, he's still around there talking shit. You know, you hear him chiming in from time to time. So,
he be saying some of the dumbest shit, by the way.
Yeah, negative shit. Yeah, he definitely be hating. We're going to go into the final blow, man. Big Cool got something you want to let out the bag to start out, man. He ain't done one in a minute, man, so go ahead.
All right, well, we're officially, 2 weeks, 15 days into 2017, and Showtime last night kicked it off with a big bang. We had the arrival of a potential young star, Tank Davis, stopping Jorge Pedraza, 7-round TKO. Had a great main event that featured, 2 super middleweight champions, WBC champion Badou Jack and IBF champion James DeGale. It seems that Showtime, gets it they're kind of putting the egos to the side, and of course they got more fighters to work with, while HBO and Golden Boy and Top Rank will turn out. You know, Top Rank has, 3 fighters that we really think of: Terrence Crawford, Lomachenko, and Valdez, while Golden Boy, you know, has Canelo Alvarez. And it's just a steady decline. If you look at the upcoming schedule, we got Adrian Broner versus Adrian I don't want to know his name. What is it? Granados. We got Mikey Garcia, you know, 2K. What's the name? Y'all good with those foreign names?
The Hans Ladekane.
Yeah, we got Leo. You know, we got the rematch between Carl Frampton and Leo Santa Cruz. It's on a steady incline, and while, you know, HBO is kind of retreating and becoming an afterthought. And all they have to do is just put the egos to the side. I know I said it alone, you know, so many times. We've all said it. But if they put the egos to the side and reach out to work with Al Haymon, we can see everybody flourish, and HBO can kind of, I guess, catch back up on a level with Showtime where we can have cross-promotional fights and whatnot. But as long as these egos from HBO and Golden Boy and Top Rank continue, they're going to continue to falter while Al Haymon and PBC and Showtime thrive. And when the well dries up, it's going to affect Terrence Crawford, Vasil Lomachenko, and Oscar Valdez, because who they going to fight? They going to keep fighting Nonito Donaire, going to keep fighting the Molinas of the world, the Hank Lundys, the fucking Nicholas Walters. I mean, they're doing a disservice to their fighters because they don't want to put their differences aside to, you know, build the brand of boxing as well as the brand of their fighters, you know, increase their revenue, and it's just making HBO become an afterthought. And pretty much to say is that if you put the ego to the side and work together, boxing will have a great 2017 and beyond. If not, it'll just be Showtime, and eventually nobody will be talking about HBO. So HBO, Bob Aaron, Golden Boy, reach out to Al Haymon, because you know he got the fighters to help your fighters, you know, reach that potential level and make these fights happen. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how we got this far, and that they're going at this man, and he's steady, you know, making his name and making his mark in boxing. And Oscar De La Hoya and Bob Aaron are steady falling to the back. And if you look at HBO's schedule, they got bullshit-ass fights. And not only are they bullshit-ass fights, they're on pay-per-view. We got James Kirkland and Miguel Cotto, a fight that would have been nice 3, 4, 5 years ago. And we got Chavez Jr. versus Canelo, which is a complete crap fight in terms of competitiveness.
Ew.
Huh?
I said that's disgusting.
With the Chavez Jr. Canelo fight?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You see, this motherfucker couldn't even make 168 barely. Looked like motherfucking that motherfucker from the movie Powder trying to make 168. They want him to come in at 164.5. You know that is some bullshit, and if this fight gets canceled, anybody that's bigging this shit up and giving it respect or, you know, even giving this any kind of attention, y'all motherfuckers need to go kill yourself for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Pretty much the schedule is apples to oranges, and who would have thought that HBO would be in this position? We always thought Showtime would be the ones that still be lacking, but obviously the right people are in the power positions at Showtime, and the wrong people are in a position at HBO. So, like I said, you look at the schedules, you tell me who you want to subscribe to. Showtime.
I just want to say, I definitely agree with your point, man. Just look at it, man. The writing's on the wall. I think it's funny we're 2 weeks into January of this new year. HBO only has 2 cards, and only one of them is going to be on their actual premium station. And nothing filled for the whole first quarter. You know, nothing detailed. So that speaks volumes. They're playing with y'all's fucking heads. Get your Showtime subscriptions up. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what he said in a nutshell. We're going to conclude the show on that note. For my co-host, 2K from the guys of Boxing Talk. We got Bon Bernard for the Truth of Facts About Boxing, and Big Cool from Colossal Boxing Talk, and I'm Twine Liberty of HoopJab.com and Rocky Mountain Boxing. Together we are the movement. Till next week, you know what I'm saying? Peace.